welcome to the space. Excited to have you back. This is our fourth VECHAIN Project Leaders Space. Before we jump into the agenda, I would love to give our co-hosts an opportunity to introduce themselves. So, Satoshi, Ferg, have we figured it out by now of who's going to go first?
Satoshi Nakamoto here, founder of Sappy Seals. No, I'm just joking. I'm part of the Mad V8s team. Also do a lot of chain Twitter spaces and just in communities together. Happy to be here alongside Connor and Ferg and the foundation and all these great speakers and projects. So looking forward to the discussion.
Nice, Sig, nice. Everyone go get a Sappy Seal, right? Ferg, core team member on VFS. Just love doing these spaces with Sig and Connor. Super informative, and I think today's going to be another good one. I'm ready to rock and roll. And Connor, I promise, man, like I was telling you, you don't want to hear this big dumb voice singing. I promise.
We might have to leave that up to a vote for the community. So you might have just put yourself in a dangerous position. We'll stay tuned there. Obviously, we are joined by a variety of speakers, a bunch of amazing projects. So I got to give a shout out to the 30 different teams that are helping support this initiative of going VECHAIN together. So bear with me while I go down the list. We start with Bomber Squad. Shout out to Division, Exoworlds, the Inca Empire, Kickback Koala, New Pigs Order, NFT Paper Project, No Nerds, Non-Fungible Book Club, Mad V8s, Mino Mobs, Psycho Beasts, Safe Haven, Shamanic Oracles, Shark Gang, Smuzzies, Stoner Punks, UCO Network, Warriors, V-Fox Alliance, V-Punks, V-Chain Energy, V-Corgi, V-Fam Radio, V-Kings, V-Anonymous, VC, Virtual Flame Studios, War Dogs, World of V, and last but not least, the blockchain that makes it all happen, VECHAIN, the VECHAIN Foundation. So, without further ado, I think we've got to introduce our speakers before we go into the agenda here. And I guess let's get to the foundation while we have you up here. Is there anything you'd like to say as we kick things off?
Hey guys, it's Jake here, or Solomon Grundle, as you may know me. Just great to be amongst everyone again. Looking forward to another opportunity to wax lyrical and discuss the real talk. So yeah, honored to be amongst you all and on the foundation account. Looking forward to it.
Let's have some fun. And speaking of fun, Exoworlds, you all were just in Brazil for that UFC event. Got to hear from you all, and I guess start there if you can share anything about how amazing that was.
Hey guys, yeah, we definitely have tons to share. Lucas over here, CEO of Exoworlds. Unfortunately, I did not go down to Brazil, had anything. I needed to stay over here in Jax, but the team had an amazing time. We were honored to be invited by VECHAIN, and the whole event was awesome. So I'll kick it off to William and let him talk about that.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for organizing this, guys. This is I always love these spaces. They're big, they're awesome, full of hype, they're full of good vibes. We had a fantastic time with VECHAIN. I guess it's a big moment. If we think back to 2018, when hardly none of this community existed, we were just starting. I remember, at least for me myself, I never imagined that one day I would meet some people from the VECHAIN Foundation, let alone be helping them to sponsor an event that is as big as the UFC. And so it was a huge honor for me. And I tried to control how awesome it was, keep it inside. But I think everybody can tell just how amazing it was. We had a nice cocktail hour on the Saturday before the event. We got together with people all over the LATAM region, Latin America, lawyers, project founders, TV news. We did a little interview for the LATAM area. We want to open up the VFAM more in Latin America. They're not so well known. And last time we were in Brazil, we went to Blockchain Rio, and we're telling everybody, hey, VECHAIN this, VECHAIN that, and they're like, oh, Solana this and Solana that. And we're not here to fight about different chains, but of course we want to show the people what VECHAIN is all about. And so healthy competition. And so that's what we want to do. We want to bring that more. And I think this was a great place for entry. People were amazed that, hey, VECHAIN is down here. VECHAIN is sustainable, and we want to learn a little bit more about them. So yeah.
I love to hear that, team. Very excited for all of the additional information to come out, and congratulations for going and making a statement, and of course sharing all of this with us. This is just exciting to hear. Well, let's hand it over to one of our next speakers, Yu-Gi-Oh! Warriors. Take it away, team.
Yeah, how's it going? This is Airworthy, co-founder of Yu-Gi-Oh! Warriors and ANA Arts, and just happy to be here again and be part of this discussion, and hopefully we can continue to unify and improve as a whole VeChain community.
I love it. That's the reason this space was created. And so far, it's been a pretty damn good success, if you ask me. But we've still got a lot of work to do. Well, let's hand it over to V Corgi, welcome to the stage.
Hi guys, thank you. Honored to be here again, co-signing you. Bullish on our new space again. I believe that talking with you guys and with the community brings innovation and food for thought about everything. And honored to be here and happy to answer questions and discussions with you guys.
I love it, V Corgi. Thank you for the kind words. I know Alios just jumped in here. Anything to add? I know you're part of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Warriors team.
So in between me coming up, a jump in the audio, so I have no idea what Airworthy just said, but I'll just echo everything that he said. I'm sure it was fantastic. Love y'all. Anyway, I'm happy to be here.
Never misses. Don't worry, got your back. That's fantastic. And it looks like we've got another project here that I think we're going to eventually have to add to this list. Board Flamingo, welcome to the stage. Anything that you want to say?
Hey guys, thank you for including me too in this amazing space. Yes, I'm very happy, like I said yesterday, that the VeChain ecosystem is growing so much like we are doing right now. And that's all. I would like to talk about Port Flamingo maybe after other projects will speak about that.
Absolutely. We'll save some time to go over a lot of updates from projects as well as community questions at the end. But before I jump into the agenda, I've got to give a shout out to our first cross-chain project that is actually part of the formal agenda here. And maybe we'll kick off with you all in a moment. But welcome Rare Evo and the team to the stage. Rare Evo, anything that you would like to say before we kick things off?
Yes, howdy everyone. This is Wes from the Rare Evo team, one of the co-founders, and we've got some of the other team members in the chat right now. Looks like we've got Young Snack and Evan in here. So we're a group of 5 who are holding a multi-chain blockchain conference in late August. So we've got our eyes on all the growing communities within the space, and VeChain is definitely top on the list between community engagement, IRL events, pushing the trend of cross-chain, and really showing the strength and momentum that your community has. So it's a pleasure for us to be here, and I'm looking forward to learning more about the projects, and definitely eventually Vegas, one of these UFC meetups. We're going to make it happen. And it's just a pleasure to be introduced to you all, and looking forward to seeing what we all come together with in 2023.
If that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what is, because being in person and meeting some of these other community members, I mean, I know Satoshi and Thompson on the MVA team can speak a lot to it, but just being in Chicago last weekend and meeting some of these guys with a smaller group, boy, it was a good time. So more in real life events, sounds like that's going to be of interest. But let's jump right into the agenda and then hand it back to Rare Evo here. For the agenda today, team, we're going to try and keep things to 2.5 hours. The spaces used to be 3.5. We're trying to get them down there. We know everybody has things to do, but we have a lot to cover. So we're going to cover growing VeChain as our first action item. Talking about Rare Evo and some of these in-person events to collaborate with other ecosystems in real life. We're going to talk about StockTwits and Reddit and some of the initiatives that have been going on there behind the scenes. Of course, we're going to chat about community messaging and material. But then we're going to go over to our next action item, which is all about collaboration with the foundation. If you haven't seen yet, there has been some awesome updates with how the foundation is looking to interact with this community and actually elect what we're calling steering committee members to a board to help strategically collaborate. And I'm very excited to talk more about that. Then we'll hand it over to talking a little bit about Web2 collaborations with different companies. We're going to have a Team UCO network join the stage, share a little bit about what they've been doing behind the scenes. And then, as always, we will open it up for the questions from the community, where anyone can join us on stage to talk about anything they would like. And then we'll do some final thoughts, some announcements, and we'll talk about the next space. But let's get started. And as we get started, I've got to ask the 109 people in this space, give a like, give a retweet, give a comment here. Let's get this space out. And if you have questions, use that comment section. We are going to be answering them. We are going to be interacting with you all. We have to be engaging. But Rare Evo, let's hand it over to you to talk a little bit more about these in-person events, because you started something last year that it sounds like is really starting to take off. And it's time to make sure VeChain's presence is there, because it wasn't last year, and hopefully we can change that for the future.
Absolutely. Yeah, so last year we had our first event. It was titled Rare Bloom. It was held in Denver, Colorado at the Gaylord Rockies Resort and Convention Center, where it will be held once again later this year in August. We really kicked off our brand originally as a stake pool on Cardano. So Rand, my partner, and I, we had taken an interest in Cardano about 3 years ago. However, we were fully multi-chain investors at the time and realized that we still had the opportunity to spin up a stake pool for a relatively affordable price. And myself being capable of the technical knowledge, while my partner Rand had more of a marketing arm, streaming on Twitch, whether it be poker or day trading. And from there, we really spun up this business called Rare. And it took a while for us to really build up a brand identity and purpose, which is the really cool thing I think about the Cardano network, is that there is that opportunity to almost run a small business through your node. Ultimately, we went to Bitcoin Miami to actually get assistance, meeting someone in real life to get that pool fixed and in better shape. And that's what we did. The first people we sat down with were fellow stake pool operators, kind of in this event full of Bitcoin maximalists. We just so happened to have this serendipitous moment, and it all kind of clicked right there. These events have massive amounts of value. We got to connect with a core group of that particular community in person and grow trust very rapidly and experience not only entertainment but education with one another. And so after having that realization, we really saw a gap within the Cardano community in particular for a live, proper trade show convention. And so we launched our brand, partnered with another group, and had a very successful event with around 700 individuals, 50 exhibitor booths, and really 2 days of kind of an educational celebration within that community. After such success, we realized how many connections that we didn't leverage last year as multi-chain investors and contributors of projects in and outside of Cardano, that the multi-chain direction was just irresistible. It was actually very funny. We were starting to see Sigtoshi's cross-chain spaces come up and realize, wow, this is trending. Interoperability is really the next trend, and very much like getting ahead of the IRL event space, we also want to get ahead of that trend, and that is interoperability. So now with our new vision, Rare Evo is really bringing a place where multi-chain startups have an affordable entry point to truly congregate under one roof and push not only the convergence of like traditional industry and Web3, but also have fun while doing it. So it's not all business. We definitely got a party element. And yeah, we're just really excited about this new vision and really growing and scaling the company now that we have a wider audience. So welcoming in the VeChain family, amongst others.
Well, I think that perfectly ties into, kind of what Exoworld's just experienced. And I love everything you're doing. So first off, congratulations on what you've accomplished so far. And I'm super excited about the journey ahead because we need this. I mean, I remember our first discussion that we just had recently. You were talking about at the Bitcoin conferences that you were at, Bitcoin Miami. There was just nobody else there. You're shaking hands with a couple people that aren't Bitcoin maxis. If you have this event where we can bring a bunch of like-minded individuals together, where we can actually collaborate and connect with one another, I think that's extremely exciting. And I'm curious to hear from Exoworlds of what that was like when you were down in Brazil just over the weekend, and what you can kind of bring from that experience and kind of share with the Rare Evo to put some thoughts in their head about how we can start interacting with them in real life.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I got tons of ideas. I'll let William speak about Brazil. The weekend was awesome. I was getting tons of WhatsApp messages, photos, and reels. It was really great to see. Will?
Hey, Yeah, sorry, I was having some issues. Um, yeah, well, um, sorry, I was having some technical
You're good.
issues
Here, I
here.
can repeat the question for you. I guess just from your
Yeah, please.
experience of being in Brazil and interacting in real life with a lot of individuals, which it sounded like were, some Solana maxis. What was that like collaborating with them versus maybe some of the in real life events that you've been to in the past? I know Rare Evo talked about being at a Bitcoin conference and just be surrounded by a bunch of maximalists that weren't interested to look outward to connect and learn. Share some of your experiences about what you saw and if there's any ideas you have about what we can bring to the Rare Evo team and kind of connect with them at their event.
Yeah, okay. Hey, thanks, Connor. I appreciate that. So one thing that I did like, and the question is especially good because I didn't notice this in many markets, but the whole world is very tribalistic about what cryptos they use, and we want to trend towards healthy competition. But something that I see huge in the Brazilian market, and I assume it goes for the rest of the Latin American market, is that the question of tribalism doesn't really exist that much. People use different blockchains. They use Solana and they use Polygon, but the moment you try to say, hey, have you heard of this other blockchain? They focus on sustainability, they're super quick, applications all over the world. It's not like, but I own so much Solana, I actually don't want anything. They want to make money, they want to get business, they want to go in anything that helps them do that. And that's the sort of conundrum about being tribalistic, is that you're anti the gains, anti the business. And so you need to open yourself up more. And so I think so we were down there with Carolina, a representative from VeChain, and there were several people very interested in having a discussion about how can we get into VeChain, how can we maybe use VeChain in what we're doing. And so I definitely felt like there was a bigger opening. And for Cardano, I'm sure it is the same. I mean, of course, traveling is very hard, and especially nowadays at post-pandemic, all the costs are up. But if there is an opportunity to come to Latin America and to open the project, open Cardano as well, is another token that I didn't hear mentioned as much. The Latin American community, I think, is much more receptive to that, as long as you're able to show the use case, the business, the reason. Why should they move over? Well, hey, we're going to offer this and this and this. Well, fantastic. They're not going to say, oh, well, no, that sounds like crap. I don't want it. They're going to think, okay, sounds like I can put a business on it. Sounds like I can make money. Let's do it.
And I think to add to that, there's just so much value in learning from one another. Each chain can learn something else from the other, regardless of if there's even an official partnership. But through conversation of all the builders who have that equal passion, whether it be on chain one or chain two, there's a lot of importance there, especially, in relation to the last. Cardano in particular is in a different time in the development cycle. And so there's a ton of things to learn. And I think with that, a great example is gaming. There are games that have barely launched, but pushing cross-chain and interoperability as well as onboarding regular users of the internet, I think gaming is really leading that space right now. And so Web3 gaming in particular will be one of our very experiential and interactive elements to the event itself, so that we can get that kind of collaboration at our event, in particular to that vertical. Although we really cover everything from DeFi, NFTs, supply chain, how we can apply this technology to traditional industry. But I think what's really cool is the fact that we have this Web3 gaming element. We're going to be bringing on in traditional esports teams to host traditional gaming tournaments, while also hosting Web3 gaming tournaments, so that those two different types of players can meet one another and conversate. Whether it's someone from the traditional space who totally doubts blockchain and needs to get a different elevator pitch, or someone who's halfway in the door and may want to decide developing on one or another. So, yeah, I think the importance of really that shared knowledge transfer and educational aspect is key, alongside with really having the ability to shake someone's hand, pitch them, and determine why it's a good move to partner.
Yeah, I'll actually, on that point exactly, I'll share one more experience that I had, and it was with a girl we met. Her name was Marisa, and she was working in the Web3 space. She had been a gamer her whole life, and she left the Web3 space to actually go work for a game publisher, game company, that's for sure. But it wasn't Web3 anymore. Regardless, she was an influencer, and we were in the taxi, and she was telling us that there's a huge potential market doing a little bit of what you were talking about, get a focus to Web 2. You know, if you're a game Web 3 like Exo Worlds is, or like some of the others here are, you know, Mad V Apes as well, get a focus on audience that are just gamers, not necessarily crypto gamers, but just gamers. Build up the following, reach out to many people, get known as a game company, so that when it comes time for you to start making posts and advertise and say, hey, by the way, did you know we're not just a game company? We're also involved with Web3. Then they're going to be like, well, you know what? I've been involved with this project for a few months. I know they're building a game. Why don't I check this out? It's much better than coming down the door and say, hey, we're Web3 game. Come check us out. Oh, blockchain. I don't know what's up with any of that. I'm going to go over and play some Call of Duty. So that's a very, very valid point. And I had some experience with that.
Absolutely. We'll be hosting a Super Smash Bros. Tournament with Mazer Gaming, their professional esports team. And they expect over 100 players, some of which partake in invitationals at the professional level. And with that track, we won't stop there. You know, the plan is to reach out to the highest levels. We're engaging with FaZe Clan to see if they'd like to join, learn more about Web3. I know that they already have some partnerships, but alongside Mazer Gaming will be other traditional organizations they are representing too.
This is what we love to hear. And I want to toss it over to Exo Worlds in a second. But I mean, Rare Evo, this is just amazing what you're doing. And it comes back to this concept that I keep hearing from tons of companies recently. Web 2.5. A lot of Web 2 companies are describing them as Web 2.5 companies because they're starting to use this blockchain technology to facilitate one aspect of their business. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it's popping up. But basically, every conversation that I'm having with people, you know, talking to them about Web3, they're bringing this up if they're a Web 2 entity. That, hey, we're looking at this and we're looking to try to, you know, evolve toward this kind of new phase of implementing technology. And so, you know, Exo Worlds being, you know, kind of a gaming company and hearing all of that, what are some of your thoughts?
Well, what I wanted to say is not only to Rare Evo, but everybody here, IRL events, we are so down. Reach out to us. Let's make an awesome event anytime. You know, let's get the details. Let's get the details aligned and do it, and reach out to some people because you know, especially when you have amazing teams, you know, like everybody here, and people see how real we are, how committed we are, and how friendly we are. It really changes the game from, you know, that potential, oh, this NFT industry stuff. I've met so many people that have had and even talked about NFTs without me talking about them, and said, I don't know about them, and I just kept quiet. And oh, I make a game, and we utilize, you know, blockchain technology to secure assets so you can monetize your gameplay. And they're like, oh, wow, and they didn't even bring up NFTs. And so, anyways, I'm very down. So any project that wants to do an IRL event, hit us up. We'll make some plans and go from there.
Well, then I'll toss that back to Rare Evo. You know, all these projects listening in VeChain, all these community members, you know, how do we get involved in your event that's happening later this year? You know, what were some of the steps that you recommend to, you know, somebody like Mad V Apes, Exo Worlds, V Kings, you know, V Corgi, to name a few? What would they need to do to start interacting with your team and make their presence felt there?
Yeah, absolutely. We're always happy to meet. You know, we find it important to do face-to-face meetings. You know, and if you're on too, that is a-okay. But yeah, reach out to us. We'll set up a meeting, start to build up some trust with one another, and provide you with all the offerings. Right now, we have the opportunity to attend, exhibit, or sponsor, or all of the above. And so we're launching our ticket sales on February 12th, and we already have booths for sale. Those booths come in various sizes, 10 by 10, up to 20 by 20 if you really want to flex. And those are available for sale now, and they include tickets for entry for your project team. So we're happy to have any sort of conversation. Our website is just about to launch. It's rareevo.io. You can take a look at it. It's a little bit in progress, but does show quite a bit. And we'll be releasing a commercial in the next week here that will really give a nice visual of what we put on this year. I think it's really important. Some of you may have gone to conventions before. Some of you may not. But in traditional industry trade shows, they can get pretty bare bones. And that is the polar opposite of what we are. More so a boutique style event that has a ton of creative and interactive elements. It's not just a boring concrete slab with a bunch of booths on it. It's at probably the premier convention center in the nation called Gaylord Rockies. They are a Marriott property. And we were actually the first team for a blockchain event to host at the Marriott property. So I think we blew minds from the venue project team side to our attendees. And really, I think we're first movers, and through a lot of hard work, but also a lot of just solid relationship building, we were able to pull that off. So we learned a lot and are really looking forward to applying all those lessons learned to this year and going bigger and better. Like I mentioned, we had 700 individuals last year, 50 booths, 2 days with a stacked stage. We're going to plan on doubling up on all that, double the programming, to double, if not more, the attendance, and our exhibitor hall is double in space. So we're really rocking. We've got plenty of booths, and we've got plenty of time to get super creative on how to curate any brand exposure outside of those booths if your brand's really looking to go all out.
Woo! Oh, wow. There is a lot there. And again, if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what is. But, speaking of, making a statement, some big names, I'd love to hear from the foundation and toss it over to you all to get your opinion on, events like this. Because I feel like on the last space, we talked a lot about in-person events. We've already mentioned here on this space, what's happening in March with the UFC. I'd love to get your opinion on all of this and, hear if there's any action items that you have to kick back to the community.
I mean, yeah, from obviously the foundation is definitely working towards kind of raising the profile of the community a lot more this year. And that's partly why we are in spaces like this and having a lot more direct engagement with the community. I mean, I myself am kind of in that role of, liaison between many parties. I was, I started off from Reddit many years ago. So, I think it's a kind of natural evolution, and certainly from the foundation's position, the massive interest in raising up that profile, because of course, it's been very much an enterprise and business focus, but as we know, Web3 is about community and raising up across all levels. So I think, it's definitely a very, very important kind of focus, and UFC London represents a great opportunity coming up, but of course there's more opportunities throughout the year. I mean, the UFC presents a really great opportunity for projects across the world to be able to network, and it provides that kind of nucleus where people can gather around and bring people along, and it creates a social media activity, and you see this natural kind of progression of engagement. People come looking, and it's such a fantastic thing to be able to help drive myself, and of course as a community member as well. It's amazing to see the foundation really taking this stuff seriously. So yeah, very exciting year ahead. I think there'll be a lot more where that came from.
UFC events, Web3 events. Sounds like VeChain, we're going to have some opportunities this year to finally shake hands in person. I hope that gets
Absolutely.
You pumped. Because
and
go ahead.
as an add-on, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but another thing is, of course, the foundation DMs are always open. We're open to collaborating. Feel free to reach out wherever you're from. Blockchain is a concept. It spans networks at the end of the day. So feel free to reach out with ideas, and we can facilitate.
Can we get some applause for the foundation here in the chat? Some hearts, just because I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, but when other people are talking about their foundation, it's not necessarily in the greatest light. And I think that what VeChain has started to do with interacting this community, they're walking the walk here, and they're getting a lot of support from the community because they are. So it's really refreshing to hear. And I want to also give a shout out to Evo. Can we give some hearts in the chat for Rare Evo for joining the stage today as our first true cross-chain agenda item? Sounds like we're going to have them back. Sounds like this probably won't be the last time you hear of them, because we're going to probably drive some VeChain projects and teams to that event to connect with more ecosystems and grow VeChain. But continuing on that topic,
I was just about to say you'll definitely hear it from us if we end up getting a booth. So
we getting a little preview?
Absolutely. We are looking forward to it. I love seeing how people get creative with their booths. And yeah, just a shout out to the VeChain Foundation. It's really impressive, the decal in the octagon, but it's even more impressive to see that it's linked to actual community interaction, fight by fight. I was super impressed by the model from, the event side, and I'm really looking forward to joining one myself.
Absolutely. And we're very lucky to have an amazing, marketing and engagement team in the background as well. I'm in the front lines, but, shout out to the guys that have come on board doing phenomenal work. And obviously the devs at the foundation. Antonio, I see he's down in the chat doing amazing stuff. So, 2023 plus is going to be VeChain's year.
Yes, it is. Well, let's continue the discussion, and let's continue with something that, I guess, Solomon, you mentioned here a bit, was kind of your journey from Reddit over here to Twitter and interacting with the, foundation and joining that team. Because there was an initiative that has been pushed over the last probably in the project leaders chat by an individual in the community named Data. If you don't follow Data, you are doing yourself disservice. But Data has really been pushing the entire team to act with the VeChain Reddit community, and we have made some noise. And so, I'd love to toss it over to some of the speakers on this stage if they wanted to share their opinions of what they've been seeing happening over on Reddit. And if you haven't checked it out, make sure you go head over to Reddit, check r/VeChain, and get in those daily discussions. But would love to open up the floor because there has been a lot happening there.
Well, I suppose I can kick it off. I started off as a Redditor, sorry, and then became Reddit moderator, and just hanging around in these circles. Eventually met people. X led to, and then 5 years later, I'm able to speak on behalf of the foundation with the community, and it's just such a proud moment. More than that, I think Reddit is such a powerful platform because each platform offers its own kind of unique attributes. Twitter's great for saying things, hitting an audience, but Reddit's got that conversational aspect, and I think it's definitely a fantastic medium for putting information out there that many people can come to. I mean, we're in the top 1% of Reddit, Reddit sizes overall. So certainly, if you've got things you want to share, you want to discuss, whether it's your projects, whether it's resources, or games, or all kinds of things that people are doing, definitely put it on Reddit because you've got that permanent visibility. So, that's my thoughts on that. And I love seeing the revitalization. I got to be honest. It's so nice to see this new wave of people.
Well, cool. I know VeChain Reddit wasn't very open to NFTs. And so we've started to change the narrative a little bit. But before we go into that, Exoworlds, I see your hands raised.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just heard Data, and wanted to say we worked with Data at the very inception of our project, and he really helped us out with a lot of blockchain stuff, and he was a stand-up guy to work with, so I'm really excited and happy to hear him being put up here. I'm a total Reddit noob, but that's what I have to say about Data. Anything he's got going on is pretty awesome and a good service to the community, so yeah.
We love our community legends, and Data is definitely one of them. Like I said, you double him, you're doing yourself a disservice. But I see we have a new speaker up here, and this speaker has definitely started to make some moves on Reddit, being one of the individuals that I think has been responding to a lot of comments with their team, just pushing the narrative that VeChain has NFTs, and this isn't an NFT that you just look at, watch go to the moon, and say goodbye. No, there's a lot of things that are coming from these NFTs where you're going to get some real world utility and some opportunities that I don't think exist necessarily elsewhere. So I'd love to hand it over to Brett. Brett, if you'd love to share some of your opinions of what you've been seeing happening on the Reddit, because I know you've been pretty active.
Yeah, thanks for having me up, Connor. Yeah, it was an initial uphill battle. I would say a year ago. I think we tread lightly is because we didn't really have, unfortunately, legs to stand on outside of the stigma that's associated with NFTs. Now, being a year later and being in a very deep bear market, I think we can all confirm that. And we're still here, we're still building, and we do have novel and interesting things for people to enjoy. We can come to the table not only with information and intent, but also with receipts. And I think that says a lot, and it has opened up a lot of interest from people over there. And we've been very careful not to have shilly conversations, but more informative conversations. We receive a lot of pushback initially. And if you just continue to deliver information and awareness and maybe even draw some real world examples that maybe would connect better with someone who appreciates valuable transactions. That's the ethos of VeChain, right? I know that's the stigma of NFTs is that they're not valuable in any way and there's no purpose for them. But if we can take the examples that they have grown so fond of over the last few years, aligning with VeChain as a core business model, and then drawing some parallels to NFTs and showing how they are the same and they even bolster each other. And, we're doing the things that they want, which, frankly, is burning Veto at the base level. We've got some positive reception. We're going to keep chucking away at it. People over there, frankly, just like to see the positivity. So we keep it positive, we keep it engaging. And I think breathing a little bit of life back into that stuff and showing that, like, you don't have to just look at charts all day, but you can, hang out with people, educate yourself and grow. That's turned out to be a lot for them.
And sometimes it's hard to look at those charts when they aren't going the direction you want, but you see some of the world application and the business moving forward in that right direction. And that's where, going and interacting with these teams, going and talking to these individuals about what is actually happening, that's drawing so much buzz and excitement, because people can feel it. And like you said, we have receipts. You can see it. So I'd love to hear from co-hosts here that have been, interacting on Reddit as well. Satoshi, Ferg, anything that you have to share and kind of build on from what Brad has been saying about our team and just ecosystem talking with that community, because there are 230,000 people, I believe, in there.
Yeah, for me, like, I think we've done a good job keeping it, like Brad said, keeping it factual, just putting the information out there and not even giving them a nudge, just putting the information. If they want to learn more, they're going to come check it out. Shout out also to Dry Raisins. He's been doing a great job on there, putting together some nice posts. I haven't been doing much engagement on there other than just upvoting. Just like, I don't know, I don't have my time between like so many different social media platforms. So I'll let other people do the post, but I'll support with an upvote. And I encourage everyone else to do that too, because every upvote that happens, or so it takes literally a second to go in there and up one of the posts. But it goes a long way. But yeah, I've been loving seeing the activity on there, and just another avenue for us to kind of spread our reach a little further. So
Yeah, I also haven't necessarily been like a Reddit MVP, but kind of a funny thing that happened that I go in there and just post GM every morning, and some people were like, "What the hell is GM?" And it kind of starts the conversation, because then someone who knows is like, "Oh, it's kind of more of a Twitter thing, yada yada yada," and then they start talking, and people are from all over the world, so it might be good morning to me, and it might be 8 p.m. their time. But it starts a little conversation. But yeah, I mean, I go up there and, like Sig said, just upvote everything, get everything kind of rolling and popping. It's very similar to a Twitter algorithm as far as liking and retweeting and things like that. So my bad, Brett. I didn't mean to cut you off there. So I'll let you in.
No, I mean, you're appropriate to answer there. The question was to you guys. It was my rudeness. But I was just gonna say, like, yeah, I don't think everyone should feel obligated to do that. You guys are mentioning like being jumped in. We are all putting in a lot of time, and I totally get that. And even myself, like, I just, whenever I can do it, I can. And I think, right now, a lot of this stuff, sound like a dick here. You have to bludgeon them with facts, right? So like, these people, some of them are educated, some aren't, and like Data and myself, who are pretty tied into the ecosystem, and even some of the underpinnings of the actual tech, can come in and just not only answer the question but come over the top with it. So I think that has softened the blow in the initial phase, and like now, them being more receptive, a lot of the GM stuff, and you point out Dry Raisins, he's been awesome this entire time. Like now, like it's a good place to kind of go in there. So, maybe it was a good entry for us to just kind of take the helm, and then now like it's good for everyone else too. And yeah, any little bit helps. You talk about upvoting and all that stuff. I know in Twitter it can be a little, everyone has their own profiles, and if you like and retweet stuff, you don't want to spam the people following you. But on Reddit, it is like, I run the VC account there. I don't even run a Brett account, and I have everyone, whether they're fudding us or not, because I want to just like spread the, like, what, man, we're just having a conversation vibe. So I don't believe in downvoting someone into oblivion. Just if they come with some critiques, hit them with some facts on why I think that's wrong, upvote them and move on.
Yeah, and I'm interested to hear, Brad, what kind of reception you've gotten from the giveaway post. I think that was this morning. You guys were talking about, you guys posted on Reddit about giving away the Undead V-King. You kind of posted a monetary value to maybe engage some people and let people know, hey, all you got to do is just create a profile and send a message. You don't have to buy anything. What kind of reception have you got from that?
I actually haven't seen the traction. I was just on there and I, did my upvote spamming and stuff. But, I think as much as like giving stuff away and incentivizing people with money was like, that's the carrot. But the thing that we've been trying to communicate is like, these people don't even know, and these people are just people who maybe haven't been enjoying the ecosystem. Because I know Solomon mentioned that he's from Reddit. I did too. That's where I initially learned and decided to get on the VeChain train. Like I was not aware of the ecosystem there. You're kind of in a bubble, and one of the messages I've been communicating is like, not only do you have a like presence of a building, thriving community that is trending up, and like there's fun to be had there, but you also have some legitimate things to be proud of. So like they should know that, like, yeah, you come to these DApps and you can do some novel stuff that like across all of crypto, like you can do a lot of the stuff, but maybe not do all of the stuff in a singular place. And like, we've seen people come to our platform and, say, hey, I've been on 5, 6, 7 chains, and you guys have something really special here. And like, we want to make these people missionaries, not mercenaries, right? We want them to see the stuff and say, like, look, we have something that is that has meaning and like give them that power to then go out throughout the rest of Reddit and say, yeah, sure, like maybe we're not doing it, but you know, our ecosystem is like there is something here, and they can point to it, and they don't have to do the heavy lifting because we've already done it. They can just point back to us, let us take it from there, engage in all that shit, and then like just create that surface area that VeChain really needs.
Missionaries, not mercenaries. Absolutely love that line, Brett. I think that was perfect. And for those that don't know Brett and are listening here, you know, he is, you know, one of the leaders over at VC and V Kings, and huge shout out to the V Kings because, you know, they have put us on the map recently with some of the volume that they've been doing. And they've been, you know, putting us on the map on the StockTwits platform and Twitter, you know, page that they've been posting. We are really jumping blockchains and getting in that discussion of volume. I mean, I saw we were ahead of Avalanche the other day. Who saw that coming in the first month of January? I can tell you it wasn't me, but it's happening. And it's because we have individuals like this that are making incredible moves. And as much as we're interacting on Reddit, hey, a lot of these past spaces, we've taught about StockTwits. We've had amazing teams like War Dogs and Ukio Warriors that have been doing great work over there. And so listening to this Alios and Ukio, you know, team, I would love to hear your thoughts on just kind of the differences that you're seeing over in your interactions with StockTwits versus what you've seen and what you've heard already from Brad that he's seeing over in the Reddit community.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I feel like, you know, I get a similar vibe on StockTwits with, you know, kind of what I've been seeing with Reddit. I only just very, very recently have been getting involved with Reddit, you know, with everything that Brad and VC and, you know, the community kind of getting involved in there. But yeah, I mean, you know, like it's something that you don't see, like I don't see immediate results, you know what I mean? Like there's not like a ton of people that have been, you know, asking and super curious and like interacting with the messages. But I have kind of seen, you know, like the consistency, the results from that. So like after, you know, I don't know, 20 or 30 something, I'm starting to see some other people that I've actually seen, you know, using like the VeChain tag, and they're talking about VeChain and everything. Slowly kind of seeing some of those people interacting with mine, and I've been seeing it on War Dogs posts as well, where they're kind of curious, you know, like maybe it does kind of come off a little bit like fudding, but you can see like the curiosity in there, you know, that they are kind of interested, interacting more with the post, and then also getting some like not retweets, but you know, like shares. And I think consistency is like a big key with it, and I'm seeing that as well, like Brett was saying on Reddit, with more and more community coming in there, like from Twitter and you know, interacting with the people on Reddit. Like you're starting to see more people interested. So, you know, I think it's kind of like a, you know, a long-term like play with it all.
I think the theme here is consistency, everyone. And it's not about, you know, going in there and just spamming everybody, posting these long, detailed messages. You know, it's showing up if you can for a little bit, giving those upvote daily, like Brett saying, upvote all of those interactions, maybe a GM, but let's get some more activity there because that's also going to drive us to the top of pages for, hey, anybody that's checking out crypto, here's another discussion that you can get involved in. And we have seen people come from Reddit and come from StockTwits already buying VeChain NFTs. It's not giant amounts yet, but it's starting. And so let's stay consistent. Foundation, what are some of your thoughts?
Well, just one thing to add with Reddit, you know, quite often you have the lurkers and the silent onlookers. I mean, obviously I can see the stat side of things, and, you know, the amount of visibility the threads get is huge. So whilst you might not get much immediate interaction, I mean, you know, you do get a lot of visibility. So, I mean, that's just something to consider. You know, people are looking, you know, we get thousands of views on a thread, and you may only get 5 to 10 comments, but there's a lot more visibility than just those 5 to 10 comments, for example.
And think back, how many people in this Twitter space have been on crypto Twitter 2017 or earlier, but you were in the background? I know I was. I didn't start posting until 2019, but I've been here following people, liking everything every once in a while, and just observing. How many people do you think are doing that over at StockTwits, over on Reddit? The same thing, yet they're absorbing the information and they are taking action on it. They just might not be posting about it. And so that's something to keep in mind. And I love that you made that comment because, again, there's 230,000 people over there that we can get community messaging in front of. And one theme with that messaging goes back to, I think, the second space we had. Let's talk about real world stuff, real world utility. Mention that fee delegation, especially when we're interacting with people outside this blockchain. But does anyone have any final thoughts here about the agenda item of growing VeChain before we get ready to move over to our next, talking about collaboration with the foundation? We are somehow right on time. Let's go.
You're gonna brag about being on time and then try to ask someone to mess it up.
Hey, we got the
I'm
time
not.
window.
I'm not stepping in front of that train.
We got the time window to answer the question. Otherwise, I wouldn't have fucking asked it. So, anybody final thoughts? Looks like V Corgi, we got your hand raised.
Yeah, correct. Well, I remember it also from last space. What's most important, everybody who's now listening, we are at 157, 57, yes, people. Even just listening in on a space like this just helps the community further and just makes VeChain more known. It gets other people see you are in the space, and just by you are actually an ambassador of VeChain, of a project that you have as a profile picture. So even if you think you aren't doing something, just by passively being here in the space, you are actually aiding the project and aiding everybody who's a VeChain enthusiast. So I think that's the most important for everyone, that even though you think you are doing nothing, you are doing a boatload for VeChain, for the project. And yeah, that's just a thought for everybody here in the space.
Couldn't have said it better. And I think that's the perfect transition, team. Hey, we're growing VeChain together as a unit. One like, one view goes a long way to make sure that we are getting seen, and the people that you interact with, hey, they see things too. But let's get ready to head to our next topic and talk about collaboration with the foundation. You know, there's two core action items we're going to be talking about here, which is the VeChain Steering Committee and Web2 company collaboration. I'd love to start with talking about this VeChain Steering Committee, because if I'm not wrong, today's the last day. Foundation, is there anything you would like to share about, you know, how this came to fruition and some of the details behind it?
Yeah, well, as you point out, today is the last day. So FYI, everyone, if you're interested in applying, you know, now's your last chance. Next week, prospective candidates will be coming forward, and you know, we'll be hosting a series of AMAs, and it will fall on the community and the, you know, the wider Web3 voice to essentially pick the next steering committee. So, of course, as some of you may know, the steering committee kind of sit at the top of foundation governance, and you know, this move is obviously about decentralizing that kind of core structure, which gives, you know, more people a voice from outside the foundation, help develop and guide you know, the developmental directive. And you know, obviously that's the Web3 ethos. Like VeChain's come a long way in developing tools and services, and a lot more stuff to come. But of course, it's important to be decentralized at the core of governance. You know, so this is another step towards kind of empowering anyone to play a real role in the future of the foundation, which I think, you know, is vital. So glad to be here. Obviously, the last one was postponed because of COVID issues and whatnot. But you know, the ethos of 2023 is positive development, community engagement, and just getting things on the path that the foundation really wants. So yeah, this is a big part of that. So it's very exciting. So yeah, I recommend anyone who's thinking about it, just get your name in the hat, and yeah, we'll see. The community will decide.
The community will decide. And speaking of the community, team, before we get ready to dive deeper into this topic, we've got 158 people in here. Let's get some likes, some retweets on the spaces, get this out to the audience, because I think this is going to be a very interesting part of the discussion. And if we have any leaders within this ecosystem, anybody that's actually applied, I invite you to come up on stage and talk a little bit about your experience so far and what you're trying to do in that position. Because it sounds like we're going to have an AMA with Sunny Lou later. But, you know, before we do that, I'd love to toss it back to the foundation for just one more question. You know, what can we expect if somebody is to step into this role? You know, what are some of the obligations, commitments, and goals that they're really trying to accomplish here in a little bit more detail?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think there's a little bit of lack of clarity, but essentially, you know, as an individual, obviously, the contribution level comes down to you. But of course, there is an expectation that this will be some level of dedication. You know, naturally, it's an important role. You're involved high up in governance, so you know, of course, there's an expectation of kind of dedication. You'll be helping drive kind of you know, decision making throughout the foundation. You'll be able to kind of put things to vote, community stakeholder votes. So yeah, there's definitely an expectation of dedication in that regard. I'm not quite sure it was 100 hours, as Sadi mentioned recently. You know, I've had follow-up chats on that, and just to clarify, so you know, it's down to the individual and what they can obviously put in as well. But yeah, you know, as an individual, you'll bring your own expertise, and of course, a balance of expertise is desirable. Where VeChain's kind of developmental focuses are within, bridging Web 2 to Web 3. Sustainability is a massive one. So, you'll be helping kind of champion these kind of agendas, and some of the tech that's coming up will play a big role in that Web 2 to Web 3 bridge. I love the Web 2.5. I think that really sums it up. It's kind of where we're at, isn't it, with development right now? People are dipping their toes, and VeChain is definitely the pioneer in delivering those tools that allow people to easily jump over, with tool chain and some other stuff we've got coming in the next few months. So, as an individual that's at the top of this governance structure, you'll be helping kind of play this proactive role in guiding and shaping Web 2.5 to Web 3. So dedication is, of course, naturally required. But, it's obviously down to the individual as well. We're all busy. Lots of people have jobs. So, that's naturally a factor.
Well, we've got Web 2 companies, Web 2.5, Web 3, and then looking in the comments, it looks like No Nerds is Web 2.74. They're out here driving innovation. We love that. But, I'd love to hear what Satoshi's application looked like. I mean, Satoshi, anything you can share about, what you did when you applied and, kind of what you're looking to do if you get nominated?
I plead the fifth. I think my application got lost. I don't know. Sorry. Ferg, what about you?
I was going to say, Ferg, we got to hear what yours sounded like.
Well, my application for that, I did not apply. I don't think anyone wants me to represent anything. I just have a fun time being here. I learned a lot from you guys and the inspiration from you guys. But no, I think Brad would be a phenomenal guy for that. I think Sig would be a phenomenal guy for that. And I think Flame would be a great guy for that. And I think we've got maybe Data, but Data's the busiest man on the face of the earth. So I don't know if he would have time for it or not. But we've got some phenomenal community members that I think would be great for that role. I don't think I'm the guy that you're looking for that. If you want to hear, a fart joke or something, hit me up. Other than that, I don't think I'm the guy.
It sounds like you might be, in a chief meme officer position. I know that is helping drive a lot of adoption. So, hey, there's still a shot. But let's get those applications in, community. This is the last day, and it sounds like we have a lot of great candidates so far already. I mean, it's really cool to hear that, this came to fruition after, I think on the first space, we were talking about a VeChain project council or some kind of VeChain council with community members that could step up and really formally interact with the foundation. That was not even, well, look what happened. We now have a true opportunity to actually do this. There is a vehicle that has been created to form this kind of council, this steering committee, and, help the community interact with the foundation. This is just really, really cool, and I couldn't be more excited. Oh, God, I see Dripshaw has made a comment in the chat. Satoshi, I'm assuming he's roasting you. Anything that you have to defend yourself?
Let's move on to the next segment.
I think Brad has his hand raised. Brad, take it away.
Yeah, I know bounce around like this is a really good opportunity, and I want to say after much consternation, both myself and Favo from VeChain Energy have both thrown our hats in the ring to try to represent the community and VeChain writ large on the steering committee. So we're still going through conversations with that. I've been talking with Solomon to see what the details are. It's the role may be maybe a lot. We're still going through that with day job and everything else, but I think it's very important for us to have representation. And I'm just going to be transparent with the amount of time I can commit to it, and I think he's the same. And if we can both together, so I say together, but I don't know what the voting is going to look like. But I would encourage you guys that if myself or Favo, VeChain Energy, Mario is on there, please, vote for him. Definitely vote for me if you think I would be a good representative. But I took the jump.
We don't want to hear this like reverse psychology stuff. Vote for him. No, he's the best. Just step up and say, you can do it, Brad. We know you can do it.
I say do both of us, but like him for sure because he's great. And myself, if I end up going to the next step, I'm still I've submitted my application. There's still some conversations to be had because I don't want to step into the role and not be able to fulfill it. So I got to see what my time in the applications look like. But I'm at least at the next phase.
I know I'm nowhere near as important as this motherfucker, but I did apply too. We've got a lot of people that are applying. And so I'm very excited, and I hope to God Brad is on there. If Brad and Favo aren't on their community, I'm just going to tell you right now, we are messing up. Again, if you're not following those individuals, making another mistake. Go follow those individuals. They're doing incredible things, and I'm excited to see what you guys can hopefully accomplish here. But excited to run alongside you, Brad. Good little competition for you, us wrestlers going head to head. But
Love it.
any other comments here on the steering committee or anything else, Foundation, that you would like to share about it as it continues to evolve here, and today being the final day to apply?
Yeah, just to echo, Brad's point really that community representation is important, and obviously it will be a mixed bag of candidates from what I understand. Obviously I can't give too many details right now, but they will all be coming forward, and there'll be a series of kind of media engagements, opportunities to ask questions, drill down, and just kind of hear from everyone. But yeah, of course, community representation is super important. So yeah, I applaud those that applied, and wish you all the best. I think having that representation at the top of governance will just be incredibly important. So yeah, good luck to you all.
Damn right. And you know what else is incredibly important is making sure that we have actual Web 2 companies interacting with this blockchain, growing this blockchain with real world use cases and telling the world about it. And thankfully, we've got one that's going to talk to us today about some of the things that they've been working on and some of the things that are trying to collaborate with this VECHAIN NFT ecosystem about. I know he's having a little bit of technical difficulties here, but we have a representative from the UCO network that's going to be joining us here, Italian Stallion. We're also going to be having Duke Congo up here join us for the discussion. So Duke Congo, if you want to request to be a speaker, please do. But Italian Stallion, if you can hear us here, would love to have you share a little bit about what you and U Network have been working on before we kick things off.
Yeah, thanks. Can everyone hear me okay?
We've got you.
I just had a lot of trouble with my router this morning. I tried doing a call this morning, and it was just chaos. Could not get it to work. Thought it was the other end, but let's see if this works. So first of all, just want to thank you on behalf of VECHAIN, the Twitter Spaces, everything that you guys have been talking about so far. It glued to my phone since you guys started. Was eating a little bit something before, but man, I had to take a break just to listen to what you guys are talking about. It's super interesting. So again, thank you guys. And yeah, so I'm one of the community directors for UCO Network, and basically in simplest terms, to kind of explain what it's a decentralized protocol in the used cooking oil. Are you able to?
If you don't mind,
okay?
You're cutting off. I can take over for this part.
Oh, yeah, I think we have Duke Congo. If you want to take a step down,
really quick.
and request.
Yeah, I was going to say Duke Congo is also a member of the UCO team, so we can hear Italian Stallion all right. Duke Congo, can you hear us?
Is it okay? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear Italian Stallion. Duke Congo, I think you're having a Twitter issue. If you want to step down and then just re-request, we'll bring you right back.
Oh, you guys can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you, but you apparently cannot hear Italian Stallion. It's just a Twitter issue. There you go. He stepped down. Just re-request up here and keep going, Italian Stallion. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no. I moved to a different room too. Where I live, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, so we get crappy service out here, and it sucks that Twitter Spaces doesn't let you use your PC, because then I could just hardwire in and have no problem. But anyways, if everything's good, yeah. So UCO Network, it's a decentralized protocol that's going to help to mitigate fraud in the worldwide used cooking oil marketplaces with blockchain and IoT tech. So what does that mean? In simplest terms, if you were to go to eat at a restaurant, let's say McDonald's, everybody loves French fries, right? Who doesn't love those fresh fries? Sometimes I'll even go in and say, hey, I don't want salt because I know they'll make them fresh for me, right? People have done that. But anyways, what happens with all that oil that they're using to fry the foods? Somebody has to collect that, and they also have to dispose of it properly. You're not supposed to just, throw used cooking oil out into the drains. It'll clog stuff up. It's an environmental issue as well. So I know I'm based in the U.S., and a lot of people, might be elsewhere, especially in Europe. I think they're ahead of the curve when it comes to collecting and disposing and trying to kind of open themselves up to more like sustainable energy sources. But basically, in a lot of other countries, you can't just dump the oil you can't just take it and dump it out. You're basically paying a collector to come and pick up the oil and dispose of it properly. What they'll do then with that oil is actually further refine it to either make sometimes, biodiesels, plant-based food, or not plant-based foods, like feedstock for animals. There's a lot of different use cases. Ultimately, what we want to do is help create a protocol that will easily help bring the trust, traceability, and transparency into the market, which it currently doesn't have. And that's where blockchain kind of comes in, because having blockchain, you're going to have something that's immutable. So you'll have a record that will then be able to go out and tell these distributors, the people that are picking up the oil and whatnot, where it's coming from, where it's going to, and then also eventually want to have it where it can tell the purity of it. Because what will happen is people can take virgin oil that's not used, they can actually dump it in with the used cooking oil to inflate the weight. And then actually, it's crazy. Used cooking oil is worth more than virgin oil. So what you're doing then is you're inflating it. You have a lot of basically opportunities for fraud in the marketplace. So what we've seen is we've identified that there is an issue that people currently in this space now currently are not able to really tackle this, fraud issue. I don't have the stats on hand right now because I moved away from my computer, but we're talking in terms of millions of dollars of fraud that are happening just from not able to easily be able to trace all this. So again, basically, in simplest terms, we want to use IoT, the sensors, to basically have small containers that can go out, and we'll be able to, when you're getting the pickup points, be able to kind of tell the quality, stuff like that. And it just makes everyone else's job down the line easier. We want to streamline it. And we're not going to actually picking up any of the oil ourselves. We're just creating the system in place that will make it to facilitate for everybody else to kind of get in and participate. So you have big companies that are, like McDonald's, KFC, whatever, that want to dispose of their oil. They can get on the protocol, set up their pickup points, whatever, and then already the systems that are in place that will pick up can continue to do what they do, but they'll just be using our system to streamline it, make it easy. And they, in turn, will be saving money because they're going to know where they're getting that oil from. And they're also going to know that it's not being diluted. They're not getting crappy quality, because that'll happen where they'll get stuff. It has to get sent out for further refinement because they're not getting the right levels. But basically, I want to make sure I'm not talking too much. You guys have any questions?
I see we've got one hand
just to
raised.
kind of
Ferg, and hold on, you're okay to talk because this is fascinating. This is real world utility and application of these Web3 tools. And so, Ferg,
yeah.
I know you got your hand raised. What question do you have here for Italian Stallion? And of course, Ducongo, welcome to the stage as another member of the UCO team as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to. So there's a couple of things. First is a comment, and second is a question. So the comment, I think, Connor, you just said, for anyone down there below that, you're just into NFTs and whatever, this is huge. So don't overlook this. This is real world utility that is very important. I don't want you to hear, oh, cooking oil. What the hell are we talking about? This is very important. This is using blockchain in real world initiatives. So that's big. And the question I have is, how easy is it going to be for these restaurants and, maybe even gas stations that maybe use oil and things like that to actually sign up for your program? How easy is this going to be for them to transition into this program?
I can answer that question.
I think Parfait can answer. Yeah, he's more the technical guy.
So currently we have in Portugal, that's where our headquarters are in. We already have 45,000 restaurants that work with us. Ideally, let's say you open a restaurant in Portugal, for example. One of the part of the registration process would be to also select a company that will be collecting your oil, right? So what we're doing is that we're not partnering with the restaurant directly, but yes, so we're going to partner with the collectors who already have their own networks of restaurants that they collect from. And indirectly, they're going to be setting up the infrastructure for us on our behalf, essentially. And we're enabling the restaurant to also, make some money from the collection that they're providing of the used cooking oil. And at the same time, the collectors are able to generate those NFT with the stamp of approval who owns it and the transaction as well. We are currently working on an application, or rather, we're updating an application that we have right now. And essentially, one of the biggest headaches whenever you're working with blockchain companies from Web 2 to Web 3 is that the bridging mechanism is a bit hard. So what we're trying to do with our application, the same way in the real estate market now, because they're kind of introducing people to join Web 3 indirectly through selling real estate with NFTs. We are slowly introducing Web 2 companies, those collecting companies and restaurants, by using Web 3 indirectly without even knowing about it. And yeah.
I love what you just said there at the end before I toss it back to you, Ferg, and then ExoWorlds, without even knowing about it. They don't even know they're using the technology. They just feel the value that this technology is bringing their business. That right there, that's the future of Web3. People are not even going to realize that this is blockchain, that this is an NFT. They're just going to see this is more efficient, this is faster, cheaper, this is making my life better. And so, Ferg, anything that you want to add on to that? Because I know that was your question before tossing it to ExoWorlds.
No, yeah, I just wanted to follow up, but that's exactly, I was hoping you were going to say that, because I think going individually restaurant to restaurant would be a little wild. But I think if you go straight to the source that I think we have here locally, it's called EcoSave, I believe, and they basically run the whole city of Louisville. If I think it's EcoSave, it's something of that nature. They pick up the oil, they properly dispose of it. So for you guys to say, yes, we're going straight to those people as opposed to going restaurant to restaurant. That's beautiful to hear. It's going to be a lot easier to adopt for everyone. And as you and Connor mentioned, they won't even know that they're using blockchain. They won't even know it, but they will be, and that's a benefit for everyone. So that's awesome to hear.
And we're offering our application, at least for some of our most of our collectors right now, is free for them to use. It's like just like an entry point for them to kind of bring down the barrier of entry.
I love to hear that. Making sure that they can actually test it out as well and kind of get their toes in the water. Exo Worlds, any questions that you have or comments there?
Guys, I find this totally fascinating. It is amazing to see, real life utility, and especially in such an important industry that's got so much to do with A, our health, and B, the environment. So props to you guys, really awesome. My question would be, how do you guys use IoT to secure this data capture or the authenticity capture of the oil? And how much oil are we talking about per pickup?
Man, it's in like the tons and tons of pickup. Just in Portugal alone, like there's 15 collection company, 12 of them directly work with us. So we're already creating a monopoly in Portugal. And what was the second part of your question? Sorry.
So the second part of my question was, how do you guys use IoT devices to secure the authenticity of that data? Because of course, like depending on how you use it will matter for how secure that data can actually be regarded.
Yeah, so we can go. So the first part that we're providing is a traceability part, right? So essentially, what happens is, let's say the auditors end up finding there's a batch of oil or a batch of biodiesel that was produced with a mixture of like virgin oil. We're able to trace back to where it even came from, and then if we have to investigate that, if they have to investigate that area, we're providing at least like a step, like a path for them to make that whole process easier. With the Internet of Things, we're using Internet of Things IoT devices to essentially measure the volume and the quantity, and eventually we're going to be measuring without going into details, we're measuring the quality as well. Currently, we're going to be running some tests very soon in the upcoming months with our devices. They've already kind of like give a sneak peek on our Twitter account a couple of weeks ago of the devices coming in. So we're moving into the test phase, but yeah, so essentially.
That's awesome, man. And I just think like every single ton of oil that gets a NFT, a tracking, data on the VeChain Thor blockchain is a ton of oil that's not just going to get dumped in a backyard or some weird place. Every time we track it on this blockchain, it's safe for the world, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
And also, it's pretty interesting to see with the whole Russia situation how like important it is to have a lot of alternative ways of providing fuel for our systems. For example, one important point somebody brought to me like a couple months ago was that even if we're going to electricity for cars and things like that, things like airplanes cannot, at least for now, run on electricity. They're still going to need biodiesel, and that's very interesting to know about for the future of this company.
I love what's being discussed right now, and I know we have two questions here, but I want to pause for 1 second because I know some of our listeners are probably like, well, is there any opportunity here for us to interact with this team? How's this team here at UCO going to be connecting with the VeChain community? That's why they're here. They have 45,000 restaurants they're working with, and guess what? The UCO team, they want to interact with this NFT community. They want to connect and collaborate with us and work on joint solutions that we can bring value to one another. Whether that's rewards that are kicking back to our community's DAOs in the form of their token UCO, whether that is some potential discount opportunities at these restaurants, whether that's collaborating on smart contract validation of these shipments, there is so much opportunity here. We are just getting started. And we need to have more of these discussions to make sure that these ideas, these conversations, they actually become a reality. And so just wanted to pause there and make that note as to, one of the big reasons why UCO is here. I have had a couple meetings with their team, shout out to one of their leaders, Miguel, and I can speak firsthand that these team members are doing some incredible things. And that you all, this isn't the first time this isn't the last time you're going to hear from them. They're going to be around. So, I want to toss it over to some of the questions that we have. It looks like we've got one from Lego, and then Scarface, I saw your hand was raised. Lego, anything that you would like to add in here?
Yeah, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me up. Yeah, I kind of have like a three questions, and I'll just rattle them off real quick. The first one is you mentioned giving payments to the restaurants. but yet you're going to the collectors to build the networks. So I'm just kind of wondering how you're how you're managing that so as not to alienate the collectors from because from my understanding it would be the restaurant that is paying a fee to the collector, and then so if the if some of the potential profit was going around the collector, how do you avoid alienating them but yet still providing value to the restaurant? That's my first. My second question would be, um, typically at what point you're talking about mixing virgin oils with used oils? At what point in the supply chain are you finding that the bad actor is kind of doing this? Like, at what point is this virgin oil inserted? Is it at the restaurant level, the collector level, the distributor level, or is it all of them? And then the third question is, and this is just a curiosity, like, why exactly is used oil more valuable than virgin oil?
Fantastic questions, Lego. Just wanted to give you a shout there. That was great.
So to start out, yeah, thank you guys. I'm really glad to hear all these interesting comments because when I first learned about UCO Network, and this was over a year ago, it was an idea that was a little weird to me. And I live in the United States, and I know about used cooking oil collection, but it's not really something that we, I guess, talk about like in everyday life. It's not something that you really see. I know someone mentioned, I forget the name of the company, but we have something here where I'm at, I think Sanamax, and they do a lot of the collection and stuff like around here. So Ducongo, he can probably give a better explanation to the payments, how you're not alienating the restaurants and the collectors. And again, I'm just one of the community guys, but from my understanding, he can add on if I'm not correct here, is that there is a partnership already between the collectors and the restaurants. So I don't think that there is a risk of alienating or taking away from, anyone's piece of the pie. I think we're already adding something to this existing network of collectors, drop off points, stuff like that would just make it all easier. I don't, and again, he can add on if something I'm saying is incorrect. In terms of fraud, there is fraud at all levels. So whether if you even look, just you do a Google search of used cooking oil fraud, you can find a bunch of funny examples where people will go to the boxes that are behind, not boxes, it's like a big bin behind a KFC, and actually out in Milwaukee, near where I'm from, someone got caught, I think, trying to siphon 500 tons or something of oil out of the bins, and they just brought their own truck and were trying to take that oil. And another thing is too, and that was from the restaurant's end where that fraud was happening. So the restaurant wouldn't have even known that they were getting their oil siphoned, and they might have been redistributing something else in there. The reason why used cooking oil is worth more than virgin oil, it has something to do that when you cook with it, it changes it on a chemical and molecular level. So at that point, it's just easier for them to do their final dilution and everything. But yeah, something happens when you cook with it, and that leftover oil, they're just able to, again, I'm not an expert on this part of it, but that they're able to find ways to further purify it and then kind of get the more use out of it. But yeah, Ducongo wants to add in on just the payments and the token itself, because I think that will answer some questions. So I'm gonna mute myself here.
On the fraud part, one of the biggest reason why virgin oil used cooking oil is more expensive than virgin oil is because there are government incentives as to why we want to transition towards cleaner energy sources for biodiesel, for example. So there are initiatives such as Red 2 in Europe that reward people, with the whole carbon credit and all that stuff. So there's a reason why they're doing that. And then what these bad actors are doing is that they are taking advantage of the fact that we are pushing towards cleaner energy and incentivizing people towards that. So they're taking that opportunity to kind of inflate the volumes that they're reporting whenever they do this transaction. So let's say you collect 1 ton of cooking oil, you can split it into 2 and mix it with half a ton of virgin oil. So now you have 2 tons of used cooking oil, quotation, because it's not real. So that's one incentive towards it. And the fraud can occur in hundreds of millions. I think in 2018 it was $112 million reported just in Germany alone, if I'm not mistaken. And in terms of the payment, is that currently whenever the collecting companies collect oil from restaurants, unless they have their own agreement, they usually just take it for free because they're doing them a service because they need to get rid of the oil nonetheless. There's no incentive for them apart from the fact that they have to comply with the regulators in that area. So what we are doing now is, okay, well, if you have to go through the process of disposing your oil, why not get rewarded for it? And that's where our native token, UCoil, comes in. So every time that the collection company collect the oil from your restaurant, for example, and it's not just oil, by the way, it could be any waste from a butcher, grease, whatever it is, right? And anytime that transaction happens, uCoil or native token is generated and goes into the wallet of whoever owns that NFT. And what happens then is that they can do whatever they want with it. They can sell it, they can keep it, stake it, and that's up to them. And every single transaction that happens in the network, we have a staking pool, and that's going to enable people to be able to get more rewards by just holding uCoil if they choose to. In the future, we're considering, extra green initiatives such as like rewarding for gas, partnering up with some certain gas companies. So if you go get some extra gas and you have uCoil, you can get some discount. So the future is bright in that aspect. But yeah, uCoil is how people get rewarded.
I could see how that could be actually like a really big incentive to bring people into the into recycle oil. Like maybe if they're a smaller restaurant or a smaller player and they don't really want to deal with collecting it or whatever, they're like, I'm not anything for it, and I gotta keep this dirty dumpster out here, and I gotta do this and that. Whereas, like, I have a friend who had a Chinese restaurant, and he would just take his used oil, and he had a Mercedes that he could run it through and burn it, and he had a furnace out in his garage that he could burn it with. But I'm sure if he was able to collect a revenue off of that, it might change what he did with the oil. So that's really smart.
First, love your
Yeah.
questions, Lego, that you just had there, and love that last statement you just made. Because, I mean, on the call with one of the team members that I had at UCO, that's exactly what they talked about is, hey, you've got these giant enterprise restaurant organizations that are able to, generate revenue off of claiming some of this, and claiming some of their carbons. But some of these mom and pop shops, the one-off restaurants, they aren't in that discussion. They're not getting those rewards. And giving them that opportunity to generate revenue from something like this is crazy valuable. I mean, you want to talk about lowering the barrier to entry to participate in this? That's it. And it's just extremely exciting to hear that it's happening in an ecosystem that has been pitching sustainability and made it a core focus of theirs. Before I toss it over to Scarface Foundation, anything that you would like to add on to the discussion as you've kind of been paying attention behind the scenes. As I had some talks, there might not be some things you can share yet, but anything that you can share about, what UCO has been working on and just some of your opinions.
I mean, I can say, I guess, in a very broad manner, that UCO have been building on using some a release we've got upcoming, essentially. I can't really go into too much detail. This is not my domain to publicize, but yeah, they've actually been helping us out by testing out some of the tools we've got coming up in the next few months, which are designed specifically to enable a very seamless transition from Web 2, Web 2.5 to Web 3, allowing you to add on those blockchain tools, but taking the blockchain out blockchain, kind of a tool chain upgrade, if you guys are familiar with that. But yeah, not really my domain as in my role. This would be more something I would put on Antonio to mention, but certainly UCO have been helping us out with testing that, so perhaps they can share their opinions, but without giving too much detail. I'm not
Anything
sure.
you can share.
No, we're
UCO,
kind of simple. We can't give too much
say,
details
don't
as
want to
well.
put you in that
Yeah,
position.
okay,
It's just
okay.
exciting.
I'm in gray zone right
It
now.
is definitely exciting.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
let's toss it.
But
Let's
but
leave
one
it
thing
there.
I would say, it has been like honestly from the moment that the VECHAIN team got in contact with us, they were interested in the project because the synergy between the two is like perfect. We all have the same goal here, and they've been very responsive and very supportive. And then also the community itself has been good. So far, it's been like the best thing that could ever happen to us, being part of this community and also being associated with the
I
VECHAIN team.
love hearing that. And one thing that shocks me is we've got to change your follower count. You're interacting with this community, but you only have 40 community members that are following you. VECHAIN, get out there and follow this man and follow Italian Stallion, because they're going to be coming to more of these spaces. They're going to be collaborating with us. They are going to be one of these potential Web 2 companies that's going to bring real world value and utility to all of us in this ecosystem. And so I'd love to toss it over to Scarface, because I know, Scarface, you had your hand up earlier. Do you have a question or comment here to add to the discussion?
Yeah, actually, I just came to hang out with you guys, and I brought some more people with me. Part of my community, Clay Rabbit, Marcel, LB So Real, and some Sappy Seals here. I just want to, give big shout out to the VECHAIN, and your community is so strong, and I love it. I just come here to hang out and listen to you guys and maybe learn more about what VECHAIN is about, and I brought more people to learn more about the VECHAIN. Thank you very much, Satoshi.
I
Thank
was
you.
going to say, when is Satoshi getting mentioned? When is he getting mentioned? We got another seal up here. But Scarface, you were the man. I know we've had some chats and DMs. Thanks for joining and bringing a lot of your, community to the discussion. Excited to keep going. Well, I'll open back up the floor. Is there any other questions, comments, or anything we have here for UCO? It looks like Exoworlds has their hand raised.
Yeah, I'm just wondering when I'm gonna get some business cards, little pamphlets, so I can drop them off at the Chick-fil-A and Burger King down the road.
Honestly, join our community, join our Telegram, we'll set you up with those.
Yeah, we can hook you up, man.
Amazing, guys. You guys are fantastic. This is exactly what I want to see on my favorite blockchain on Earth. This is awesome, guys.
I mean, UCO, it sounds like you've got 30 plus potential business development units. If you need them, just make sure you kick back some rewards to these communities. But we know of people, and we've got a lot of members in them that are extremely passionate about growing this ecosystem. And, one of those potential communities has their hand raised right now, and they haven't had the chance to chat yet. No nerds. I know you're out there claiming that you're a 2.74 Web2 company. Anything else that you want to add?
Hey, Connor, you're right, man. Yeah, I did have a quick question, to be honest, for the UCO guys. Apologies if I misunderstood it, because I was kind of dipping in and out of this, but I don't want you to think that I'm like fudding or anything like that. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. But have you had any questions about the token becoming or being as a security at all? Obviously, you mentioned that the rewards for the holders. I'm just wondering if that's something that's sort of come up.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that the founders have done pretty much everything that they can to abide by all local laws, regulations, and anything that would make it seem like it's a security. As far as the eye test, if you look at it, we are a utility token. The project UCO network, and you have the token UCoil. It's not like, I guess in my eyes, I wouldn't see it as security just because of the way that everything works. It's a pay-to-play system. If you want to use the network, you hold tokens, you get access to, the different features, stuff like that. And the more will become in the future, obviously, as we keep developing things and going forward. But yeah, no, I mean, personally, I'm in the United States. So it is always obviously a concern anytime we're looking at altcoins or other smaller projects. Will they be seen as security? That's going to come up no matter what. And, and up to this point, I'm pretty sure that everything we've done has been, above board by the rules. It shouldn't be seen as security, but that's still all, evolving every day. Here in the United States, the SEC still doesn't know what's going on when it comes to regulations and stuff like that. They're still changing their mind every day, it seems like, on what is a security, what isn't. So, I guess what, in my mind, the best we can do is just do our best to follow the rules that show that, that we're abiding by, that are, just making sure that everything we do is above board. And that if regulation comes, we'll always be willing to change, adopt, and follow that path to be as compliant as possible. But that's, obviously the future regulation that's out of our control, but we're always doing anything we can to be as compliant as possible, of course.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I've recently started looking into it sort of for our project because, until now we hadn't really been taking these sorts of things seriously, but it's obviously becoming more and more of a thing that's discussed in these spaces. So yeah, I guess just kind of trying to get another project's kind of point of view on it, really. But yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, no, thank you for the question. That's not FUD at all. Nobody should ever feel afraid to ask a question, whether they might seem like it's negative, positive, doesn't matter. We're always here to happily answer everything, and it's good to have opposing views and these type of things, because if you don't talk about it, how are you ever going to discuss it and bring it up? So appreciate your question.
Yeah,
thank
man,
you.
No worries.
Nobody wants to be in a yes man echo chamber, and I think that's why
exactly.
these spaces were created. Dead serious. Reason this space was created was because we had an echo chamber and we were fighting with one another, and we decided, let's talk it out, let's be professionals, and let's see what we can do to work together. And this place has flourished because of it, because we've been able to have these tougher discussions, we've been able to have challenging views without FUD. And so huge shout out to No Nerds, and shout out to No Nerds, because I think the reason you asked that is because of what your team is doing. They all just incorporated, became a legal entity. I mean, is there anything you want to share about that? Because it sounds like it's pretty top of mind for you.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, the incorporation of the business, that was quite a while ago. That was probably a couple months ago by now. But it kind of led us into the questions of securities, because obviously now it is it's a registered business. There's certain laws and regulations that we need to abide by. We're not flying under the radar anymore. And that kind of got us thinking about whether our project really would be considered a security. And to be honest, at first glance, even it did look that way. So we've had to have a massive restructure of everything. We're sort of, it's been all we're talking about at the moment. And what we've settled on at the moment is a DAO, basically a community DAO, which I think a lot of other projects have done. But yeah, I won't go too much into detail, and I don't want to hijack the space or anything. But yeah, plenty of info available. Just any questions, anything like that, feel free to DM.
Well, we may have some time for the community portion to talk more about that because I think it is definitely interesting to hear what you all are doing, and congratulations on the growth there. Satoshi,
Thank you, man.
I see your hand is raised. Anything else that you have to add?
Yeah, actually, my question is for Italian Stallion. I'm actually curious why the first words out of your mouth weren't "I'm sorry, Satoshi, that I couldn't make it to the Midwest meetup.
You're gonna blow him proud.
I really wanted to go and all this stuff." I'm surprised that wasn't the first thing you said when you came up here, bro. No, but we'll definitely catch you at the next one. I know you wanted to be there, but it was a hike for you, so
Man,
we'll
yeah,
definitely catch you at the next one.
No, for real, I wish I could have come because I grew up in Chicago, and it just would have been awesome to go out there. The weather was kind of crappy out here, and I just didn't have a good way to go because I don't live in Chicago anymore. I'm out in Wisconsin, so you know what I mean. It's a bit of a hassle, but definitely any other meetups and stuff, I do want to come because so far this is probably one of the best spaces I think I've been to. Just it doesn't even feel like we've been here that long. I like the way that you guys have run everything, and again, really just super appreciative that you guys let us come up and have a voice here. And like I said, the whole thing, and even just not the stuff about us, everything that you guys have been talking about, super interesting, and you guys all just seem really cool. So again, hey, sorry man, I couldn't make it, but appreciate you calling me out in front of everyone. Thanks.
It's the COPFP.
Hey, you're part of the V fam now, right? We gotta play around with each other. No, but it was a really cool event though, and I just wanted to kind of bring it up more so to just encourage other people in the community to run it in your major city. Like, put something together, get it out there. If you want some of the, people with bigger following counts to tweet it out for you, definitely will. Like, no questions, just reach out to like any of Bread, Flame, Connor, the foundation, whoever will get that tweet out for you, and try and rally some people together, because these in-person meetups are really fun time, and you get to see the real person behind the PFP, and just kind of talk to each other about how you got into this space in the first place, and just you understand that you have so many similarities between each other, and we all have similar goals at the end of the day, and you have fun while doing it. So and real quick, actually, the owner of the bar, he was really intrigued by VeChain, and he wants to do some, loyalty rewards programs through, blockchain and stuff. So I actually have a meeting with him again on Friday. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and what it might look like, and just kind of start building up some of these businesses, and see how we can pull some rewards back to the ecosystem, and some of these projects and stuff too. So keep an eye out for that.
You're about to turn me into an
Quick question. Sorry to cut off. Quick question. Do you guys have anything going on in Montreal or Ottawa, Canada? Like, I'll be down to even help with that. I'm all alone here in Canada.
I feel like we've got some VFam. I'm pretty sure Nomi's in Canada. I think we've got some VFam. We can start poking around. I think we really need to start figuring out where all these events are going to start taking place, and people have just got to start shouting, "Hey, I'm here." So it takes that. And I just want to say, Satoshi, you're about to turn me into an alcoholic, man, because that bar is like not even a 3-minute walk down the street from me. So that is freaking dangerous. But the other thing that I wanted was, I was at that event too, and the coolest part to me was the random dude that showed up just because he saw this cross CT. He literally has no affiliation to VeChain, has no affiliation to any project within VeChain, actually operates and is a business development team member on another layer one, and was like, there's an event in Chicago. I'm coming to check it out. The dude was from France, and he was just happened to be in the area and stopped by. That was so cool. And guess what? Oh, yeah, he's exploring VeChain. He's getting ready to possibly set up a wallet. I mean, we actually onboarded, I think, an Algorand individual, shout out to Algo Squirrel, who was there, and set him up with a VeChain wallet, and he bought a Mad V8. Like, we literally were at that event, drinking, having a good, and onboarded wallets to the ecosystem. Tell me you can develop a better story. I don't know. Exo Worlds, I mean, you all just did it in Brazil. Anything that you have to share? I know we've been talking about it a lot.
Honestly, I'm thinking like we should have a community like a community map where either you log into your wallet or something, and then you just like, hey, I'm here, I'm in Jack's Beach, I'm in Chicago, I'm in Toronto. We could have literally like a community map board. Anyways, just an idea.
Oh, I really like that. Somebody's going to build a DApp. Somebody's going to build a DApp. I don't know who's going to do it, but Foundation, you have a lot of grant money to throw at somebody that could do it. I know you do. Ferg, we'll toss it over to you.
I want Brad to tell me I'm an idiot because I don't know if this will work or not. But
Berg, you're an idiot.
Well, I love you too, Brad. Listen, is there a way to do like, maybe VC team or someone that we can trust, like release like a super cheap NFT that serves as a ticket, and then we wait until VeChain goes back to maybe let's say 10 cents, which will be what soon, soon enough, and then everyone who holds those tickets, we can use those funds to buy a block of hotel rooms and maybe plane tickets or some shit. Like we could literally try to
And
fund.
we're out here trying to fund a
We could,
fucking
we
a
could
hoedown.
as a community, we could literally fund like a whole trip for everyone to come love each other.
I mean, we
absolutely could.
We did just talk about an event that's happening later this year at the start of this space that is all about bringing the VeChain ecosystem to the front of the ecosystem with others. I mean, Rare Evo's got one happening. Do we try to do something? I don't know. I think it could be a stretch, but I love where your head's going. I mean, no nerds. I see your hand up.
I mean,
or Ferg, back to you, and then
well,
no.
also Brad, I'm pretty sure Brad is like an actual model in real life. He's got money. He could just pay for everyone to meet up in France or whatever.
You guys, just in case anyone's wondering, he's talking from his bathroom. That's the sound of a man in his bathroom. I want everyone to know that Ferg right now is in his bathroom.
Absolutely fantastic. We're going to have some educational content, but you're going to laugh a little bit. No nerds, over to you.
Yeah, No Nerds got you covered. We're hosting a summer party. It is in the UK, but No Nerds Inc. are going to cover the accommodation, food, all that kind of stuff, all the booze. And anybody with a union membership NFT is invited to it. So get yourselves down here. We're going to confirm more details further down the line, but yeah, it's going to be a massive mansion, 30 bedrooms, pool room, like the lot.
Dude, Ferg, he literally is doing what you just said, except they're doing it at a mansion.
We are only renting it, to be fair, but yeah.
There's 0% chance I get on a plane that flies across an ocean. I'm sorry. I love you, but I'm not doing
How
that.
about a ferry?
Hold on. Do you have a fear of flying? Did we just learn this on a recorded spaces? I feel like we can weaponize this.
Listen, I'll fly to like California. I'll fly to Vegas. I'll fly as far as I can go from where I'm at. I'm not flying over a large body of water. There's no
Fair.
way.
We've seen a lot of movies and read a lot of stories. Let's hand it over to World of V. I see your hand is raised.
Hey guys, good evening everyone. It's good to be here, to have an update from all the projects and to hear what's happening with the Web 2, Web 2.5 companies. I find it very interesting. And actually, it's a very important day for us at World of V. And I'm glad that we're having this space so I can share with you what we've been working on for a while. Basically, yeah, I'm very happy to say that we finished the beta testing of our toolchain implementation on World of V. As of tomorrow already, we will allow everyone to mint digitals directly on World of V. It's going to be very simple and straightforward. It's just like minting an NFT for an artist. The only difference is that you're linking it to the physical item with the VeChain, the IoT devices, which can be an NFC tag or even a QR code. So yeah, that's super exciting because, since the beginning, we've been dealing with artists and then we wanted to bring traditional artists on World of V. And we did that with some of them using the digitals, but, it was a bit complicated, I have to say. So right now, it's going to be possible for everyone. They just need to buy some of the chips or like ask us for the QR codes. So if you are a small brand, if you are an individual or if you are an artist and you want to put something on the blockchain and use the NFT as a certificate of authenticity or as a certificate of ownership, you will be able to do it straightforward. I believe we're the first marketplace to implement this kind of technology, and yeah, we're very proud of it because we've been working on it for a while. It's been taking a lot of time, but it's actually pretty cool. Today I minted a digital, which is an art book, and it's already on Word of V. If you know, my profile, you can already see it. So there is the world provenance link. It's super cool, and yeah, we're just very excited about that. So I wanted to share it on the space because we're just finishing the beta testing, so we're gonna go live pretty soon. and it's very exciting. So if any of you want to start this journey, want to mint some digitals, want to do merchandise for your collection as a digitals, just contact us. We will hook you up to buy the chips. We won't sell them directly. We actually have a partner that we will announce in a few days. So yeah, it's going to be possible for everyone.
We love that real world utility. And I'll say, before tossing over to Brad, some of you may have noticed I got a new PFP. Yes, I'm going to get it in a digital form, and I am so damn excited. Huge shout out to the Secret Escape, an amazing one-to-one artist on VeChain who, designed this for me. I tweeted a larger image out if you want to take a look, but I'm getting it blown up and framed, and it's going to have the details of the actual ID on the blockchain and just some more information about it. So I'm very excited about that. We'll definitely be tweeting about it. But Brett, I see your
It's
hands
about
up.
time, bro.
Yes,
It's about
yes,
time.
yes. I had to do it
It's
before
about
this
time.
damn space. But Brett, over to you.
Yeah, I know in a lot of these spaces we always talk about like things to pump up with VeChain as selling points. And I've for the last few weeks, months been telling everyone to point back to fee delegation because that's something that's truly unique to what we have, and like that is an unlock for us. And I think this is another thing that every space that I go in across all of blockchain, people are always going, oh, the digitals, oh, like it's coming, we're gonna do whatever. So I'm sure it'll take a few days to like work out some just like beta testing of this stuff. So like, give them some time. But this is something that you guys need to put in the back of your head that whenever you enter into these spaces and someone says, oh, we're working on, you can then say, oh, we have, and then like pitch that. And then that's a very valuable thing if it is seamless. So, put this in your logbook. That is a very valuable thing that we have an arrow in our quiver, if you will.
It's a good point. And jump in spaces with Brad. You learn so much, honestly, because and then you can just regurgitate that on other spaces that you join, and he's not in there. That's kind of what I do. People think I'm smart and know a lot about the tech stuff, but I'm really just regurgitating stuff I've heard Brad say, so I know it's accurate. And when he says to say these kinds of things because it'll perk up people's ears and really matter and sets us apart, let's do it. Let's get out there and do it. If this is something that sets us apart from other chains, like we need to use that as a selling point. We're doing a lot of awesome stuff VeChain, a lot of awesome stuff, and people are starting to recognize it. People are starting to see them more and more. We are really starting to gain some traction. So let's keep getting out there. Let's keep jumping in Twitter spaces. Let's keep making some noise.
StockTwits is calling you out saying they never thought you were smart. Just throwing that out there. But
oh my God.
But one thing that I want to shout out that I don't think all of our listeners know is Bread is working on VC. VC is technically a competitor to the marketplace that just talked World of E. That Bread is giving this marketplace props and credits for what they are doing for innovating. That is what has been happening all the time on VeChain. Sure, yeah, we're going to compete with each other. We're going to push each other, but we are going to support each other when we're doing good. And that's something that I want to shout out that, Brett has done the entire time I've seen him in these spaces or representing VeChain. So huge shout out to you, Brett. I just love seeing that shit happen because that is one of the core reasons why I think this ecosystem is just blowing up and why we're all having so much fun. And speaking of having so much fun, making this ecosystem blow up, we need to get ready to continue moving forward because we've got to get some of our community members up here who have questions and want to talk about some things, as well as some projects that want to talk about some things. And so as we get ready to make this transition, I want to give the stage to ExoWorlds for a moment. We just heard from World of E on some awesome developments that they just made. But ExoWorlds just made a tweet about something they did. So I'll pin this tweet up to the top. And ExoWorlds, if you want to take it away, and then any other project feature updates, feel free to jump in. And any community members that have questions, please raise your hand and we'll get to them.
Thanks a lot, Connor. It's really exciting. I'm going to let William take the stage, but we're opening up our whitelist, and William can tell you guys more about it. We're very excited.
I don't think we have William up here as a speaker. So William, if you could request, let's get you up here and let's share a bit of the details of what's going on with this whitelist. Because, I mean, from the looks of this image, woohoo, sounds like we got some cool shit coming. Just added William as a speaker. So William, please take the stage and share a little bit more about, what you and ExoWorlds have down the pipe.
All right. Hey, guys, can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, nice. Yeah, so it's an exciting new development. We are preparing to get our white paper out there. For us, it's a big deal. You know, I guess every project says it, but it's not just a piece of paper. Lucas and I and the other team members, we've worked months on this white paper. It is many pages long. It goes deep into not just important, critical things of white paper like tokenomics, but the gameplay, the mythology that the community has been asked since the project launched, about every last detail of what is exo worlds, where did the idea come from, what are all the planets, what is behind the galaxy, is this Earth C73, or is it a whole new thing that we haven't heard of before? It's elements from all sorts of media, games. We've even used the help of fantastic new AI tools, that are very helpful. And so it really is a culmination of many technologies, many films, movies, games. And then, of course, there is the other side, which is the tokenomics, the more finalized. How is the Exo Worlds game going to go? How are people going to earn tokens? How are they going to spend tokens? How did we make a circular economy that is sustainable, right? Farm to plate, except with tokens and video games. So the whitelist is just open for VeChain addresses. Anybody can go on our website now. They can register for it. There's a couple of questions. We take down some information, what kind of person are you? How interested are you? That kind of stuff. And in theme with our wanting to go cross chain to open up to new communities, over the next 2 days, we're also going to open up the whitelist for Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain holders. Now, over the longer run, I hope that that's going to expand to more as well, to Cardano, to Solana. But those are the three just this week that we're going to launch. And similarly, when we go to, open our token sale, it will be cross-chain right away with VeChain, with Ethereum, and with Binance Smart Chain. And the other two that I talked about, Solana and Cardano, are still being worked on currently. So anyway, I advise everybody to check it out, regardless of the token sale or anything like that. The white paper itself, we really put blood, sweat, and tears into that thing. If you're just looking to have a great read and see something new that you haven't seen, science fiction is one of the greatest subjects out there. And so I recommend you guys to go check it out when it releases on Monday and have a great time reading it. We're always open to any suggestions. If you guys can hit us up and say, hey, where did you guys think about going with this line of thought? Or I'd love to add something here, then please do send messages.
Can we?
Yeah, we've really been working super hard on it, guys. And another really exciting development is our custom NFT bridging solutions for our Exo Worlds and any subsequent NFTs. In line with the whole cross bridge mission, we want to be able to sell any NFT to anybody at any chain that we support. So that's something that we're working on too. So it's really exciting. Anyways, get on the whitelist, and when we do get our white paper out, check how you can stake and earn EXO tokens.
Can we get some hearts in the chat for Exo World and William? This is awesome to hear. I can remember back in the day when Bread and the VeChain team sent a few VeChings cross chain, and now we're here and we're making it a part of this new launch. I mean, watching this cross-chain initiative just develop and grow in our ecosystem is so exciting. So I love the work that you're all doing. And if anyone has questions for the Exo Worlds team, please raise your hand, keep them up here for a little bit so you can ask any. And do any of our speakers have any questions right now? Otherwise, we'll toss it over to our next speaker. We've got Board Flamingo Flying Club, who was on the spaces earlier. I want you all to share a little bit about what you're working on, because I know we haven't had you necessarily around these spaces, but you've been doing some cool things on the VeChain.
Hey guys, thank you for this opportunity to speak in this amazing space, like I love to say. For who doesn't know us, we are a project, of course, in the VeChain ecosystem, and we are here to support the flamingos and all the endangered animals in the world. We have currently 3 collections. The Alpha collection that has 3,000 flamingos, the Ladies collection, so the female flamingos, that has 4,000 flamingos, and the Baby Mingos collection, the last one. And we have at the moment some exciting news. For example, we are launching a new collection. It will be a burn event, so it's a very interesting things. Why? Because with this new collection, we will burn the 55 of the Alpha collection. So we will burn 1,500 flamingos in order to get 1,500 eagles. The juicy news is that we will activate the staking again for ladies, but we would like to put staking also for alphas. And our goal is actually to activate the staking for all the collections of our projects. So we are currently investing in the VeChain ecosystem. For example, we are happy because we ended the raffle. We sold out all the raffle tickets to buy
Musama Berro.
to buy Vikings NFT, and we are very happy because we are choosing which one to buy, and the burn event will take place on VZ. Yes, I don't know if some of you have questions. Please ask me whatever you want.
Can we first get some hearts in the chat for the Board Flamingo Flying Club? Congratulations on what you all are doing. Very excited to hear about these developments. Do we have any questions here from any of the speakers or any listeners? Like I said, before, we'll keep them up here in case anyone wants to come up and ask a question.
I just wanted to say, I heard the word baby mingo, and that really was pretty cool. And it gave me a little chuckle. I like that word. So whoever came up with that, you're a genius.
Thank you. Yeah, the Baby Mingos is a collection generated with we can say with the love, okay, between the male flamingos and the female flamingos. In fact, we had a burn event. So yes, thank you.
We want more baby mingos. But hold on, I got to call something out here. Because Satoshi, are you related to this guy? Satoshi Nakamoto is up here with now Crypto Picasso Nakamoto. Crypto Picasso, welcome to the stage. Any questions, comments from you?
How's everyone going? I accidentally hit the mic. I do apologize. But I do love VeChain. I am a VeChain holder and love everything VeChain is doing.
Let's go. That's my cousin. Crypto Picasso Nakamoto. Everybody give him a follow. Give him some hearts in the chat.
I love when people come up here just to say, hey, I just want to say I love VeChain. So Crypto Picasso, that is awesome. Welcome to the stage. Do we have any other questions, comments, or even anything from our speakers that they wanted to bring up? This is the open portion of our spaces. We've covered all of our agenda, but I want to make sure if anybody has any thoughts or final comments, we get them said now.
Final comment for me, actually, the first crypto outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum that I bought was VeChain back in 2019. Yeah, this is it's funny how everything works around. You just end up indirectly working with them over the years, so it's very interesting. Happy about that.
That is super cool to see that come to fruition. Something that you've invested in, and I know that's kind of how I was. I remember back in the Venn days, and now being up here literally on a spaces with the VeChain Foundation. Sometimes you got to pinch yourself. It's pretty cool to see we can do here in this world of Web3. Because I don't know about you all, I don't know many leading global companies that are going to be on a open forum Twitter space on a random afternoon in the middle of a work week to talk about innovation in the industry with a bunch of other random people. Pretty damn cool to see. So definitely be conscious of that when you're in these discussions and interacting with people, that this isn't an everyday opportunity. Don't take it for granted. Make the most of it. But I'll hand it over to Jordan. Jordan, welcome to the stage, Stoner Punk's team member. Anything that you got to add here?
Yeah, just a quick comment that I just wanted to say that it's just amazing to have almost the whole community just headed in the same direction right now. Everybody is just there's just this palpable excitement in the community. It's really wonderful. So everybody savor it and enjoy it, and let's keep moving forward. This is awesome. Everybody's building. Everybody wants to be here. Yeah, I mean, even though it's hopefully the end of the bear market, but everybody's still excited. Everybody's hopeful. It's a wonderful place to be. So thank you, everyone.
Stronger together. We have a lot of fun here in this ecosystem. And if you haven't, I know one of the action items that came from one of these last spaces was trying to interact on more spaces within the VeChain ecosystem, not just this one, not just the cross-chain Wednesday space with Satoshi. But if you haven't checked it out, we brought back Thursday. And Thursday was fantastic. to kick off the year. So please make sure you're going and checking that out. We've got amazing co-hosts, Flame, and OK co-host Satoshi, and some others that are really doing great work over there with the foundation on a space, to talk about some of the things happening in this ecosystem and really dive deeper into specific projects. So if you're trying to learn about the details around a project, somebody that was up here, that's a great place to go and check that out. So I'm glad that, Jordan was able to hop up here, and shout out for everything that you all have been doing. But I know we have a new speaker up here. I'm pchotels.888. Anything that you have to add or any questions that you'd like to ask?
Thank you very much. I work as a professor of AI in London. I have a question from VECHAIN. I can see some other projects like Cardano, they have a very good collaboration with universities. And right now in our university, which is University of East London, we are hosting Chain Link, and they are coming to our university for publicity and of course giving some seminar. So does VECHAIN has something in their agenda to have collaboration with universities? And of course, this can give you good publicity and we can have the joint ventures as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so we have this thing called the V-Research program, which has been around for a little while now. And some of the OGs might remember we've had kind of collaborations with Oxford University, wait, I'm not going to pronounce it right, but Tsinghua University in China. It's one of the top computer science unis. Michigan State, which is like a supply chain kind of, a leader in that field of research. So the answer is yes, absolutely. And Peter Zhao is heading that kind of, sector of development. So by all means, please get in touch with some more details. I'm sure that's something we can facilitate. I know that ATP, when we were out in Italy, we had some universities along and they expressed a similar kind of interest. And yeah, there's conversations happening there. So the answer is yes. And please feel free to DM. I can definitely get your details to the right parties.
Thank you very much.
PC Hotels, I love when people come up here to do things like that. That is awesome to see, and I hope that we end up seeing a tweet about something that ends up happening in the future. Just because this is how that stuff starts. If you don't ask, it's not going to fucking happen. So huge shout out to you for coming on stage and just putting your name out there. Love to see that stuff. And we've got another individual that joined us. Praise. Anything that you got to add to the discussion or any comments that you'd like to contribute?
What's up, everyone? Gonna be honest, I'm kind of excited I got accepted up here. I just want to say thank you for Connor and Satoshi and Ferg and everyone coming in, and thank you guys for hosting. I did also just buy a Vigos, Ferg. Just thought you should know that. I've been listening for a little bit, and yeah, just wanted to say that I am hosting a DGen 24/7 space. I respect Connor and everyone for doing these more organized spaces. These are needed, but always have to have some degeneracy. So yeah, I figured I'd come up here and bring a little degeneracy to the stage.
Yes, and let's pause right there. Can we zoom out? If you didn't know, there's a 24/7, 365 Twitter space being hosted that has a damn token associated to it. Go check out the DGen Twitter space. And Praise, I would love to have you share a little bit more about why that was even created and what you all have been doing, because I mean, just for perspective, team, if you're gonna go play poker, you better be damn good, because we have some sharks that sit in that space sometimes, but they talk about literally everything. And if you're just trying to let off some steam, hang out and shoot the shit, that is a great place to go. So Praise, anything that you want to share about some details related to that space?
I mean, so the DGen space, like that's going 24/7, it's a place for anyone to come and talk and just be a DJ and talk whatever you want. We did start a token. Thank you for mentioning that. I didn't want to sit there and chill or anything, but yeah, no, we did start a token. It's like less than a week and a half old, and we're at a market cap of 35K. It's over on Algo. Yeah, I'm just fully embracing that cross chain that everyone keeps talking about and stuff. And yeah, we do basically daily poker, staking for our tokens coming soon. You can go and enter raffles with our token. There's a lot coming up, and yeah, maybe even an NFT project soon.
Ooh, we getting little teasers? I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, seriously, what you all are doing is incredible. Talk about time commitment, 24/7, 365. these individuals always have someone talking. It is fantastic to start my day if there's no spaces and just tune in and listen to some people I like to listen talk to, shoot the shit, talk about whatever. And if there's a topic I like, definitely going to go join the discussion. So I highly recommend that anybody that's interested, or hey, maybe you don't want to come up and speak on this giant space in front of everybody. You want to practice some speaking skills, ask some questions. That's another really safe place to go do that. Because I know, like I said earlier, I was in the background of CT for a long time. I was an individual that, hell, I didn't even hop into Twitter spaces. Not that they didn't exist, but I would listen. I was liking things, but wasn't commenting, wasn't retweeting. Start to take a leap. I encourage you to do that. You have no idea what might come from it. The relationships that I've built here are, I believe, forever. There's a lot of individuals that I've connected here with that I really, really hope that I can go the distance with because of the value that they've brought to my life, the insight that they've brought to this community, and the fun that we've had together. So go take a leap, go explore. I think you'll regret it. But it doesn't look like we have any other questions here or any other comments from the community. So we'll do one last round from our speakers. Any final thoughts here from some of the individuals we have on stage? And we'll start with the individual that just asked a phenomenal question. PC Hotels 888. Anything that you would like to add as we get ready to wrap up here and you kind of listen back on the discussion today?
Thank you very much. I would be saying I read the white paper of VECHAIN. This is fantastic because, as I said, I am a professor of AI. So I wouldn't be saying, but I love the technology, which is the word you said we shouldn't be saying. But of course, the white paper is fantastic. And I would be love to seeing more cross-chain theme in VECHAIN as well. Of course, they are building, but the VECHAIN project is very strong, but the publicity is not that strong. I think look at the Cardano, which is average technology, but they are doing a lot of publicity. So we are weaker in terms of publicity. The technology-wise, the project is very, very strong.
And that has been the mission of kind of this space and just this community, is let the world know what's happening here because it's pretty damn impressive. So great final points there. Thank you for joining us for the discussion. Hand it over to ExoWorlds and William. Anything that you all have to close here with?
Let me see if Lucas, do you have anything to go first, or should I get started?
No, please go ahead. I have some final words.
All right. Well, a lot of in line what everybody has said here. I think someone mentioned it, Connor. You mentioned it perhaps in the beginning. Before these big Twitter spaces and even some of the smaller ones, we were sort of all just detached, echo chamber, right? To one fighting with another. And now we're a community. I see all the time projects interacting with each other, like you said, commenting, getting in spaces with each other. It's something that I feel like ExoWorld still needs to take the next level up and interact more and more and more. And we want to do that, and we are doing that as we go forward. VECHAIN, again, a huge platform for us. Technology is great. We're getting the name out there, and people recognize VECHAIN as a really staple name in blockchain, a solid name. And so definitely a lot of positivity out there. And my final words, go check out the ExoWorlds whitelist. You won't regret it, guys. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for organizing this event.
Yeah, nice. Thanks a lot, Will. And I have the same exact words. I'm not going to say them. VECHAIN Foundation, it's incredible to be a part of your ecosystem. It feels really good to be behind such a stable and sustainable blockchain. So many good things to say. It's awesome to be able to tell people, hey, this is where I'm building. These are their values. So I love piggybacking off of those values, and it's wonderful to be a part of. And yeah, ExoWorlds is doing everything we can to grow, to create a platform where other people can come and learn how to build games on the blockchain, on the VeChain Thor blockchain. We have resources. We're building up a whole pipeline for people to come into this ecosystem and build games like that super quick with many enabling technologies and solutions already built for them. So I'm super excited for this community. You guys are amazing. I love chatting and mixing ideas with you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ExoWorlds team. If you do not follow ExoWorlds team, you definitely need to change that. Congratulations on what you've been doing and excited for the future. Let's hand it over to Praise. Praise, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah. I was wondering if it was okay if I pin up the space that we're hosting.
Yes, sir. Please do, because hey,
All right.
when this space ends, if people still want somewhere to go check it out.
There you go. So there's that, and then the last thing I have to say is, well, there was not enough degeneracy in this space.
So I think we need to bring it to the 360. Oh God, there it is. I
Hell
love
yeah,
Morty's
bro,
face.
yo,
I love you,
yo!
Praise. I mean,
I'm
hey,
so happy to be in this community. I'm so happy to be a fucking VeChain soldier.
Praise, you are the man. And yeah, if you didn't see the full name, it is Praise the Wheat. That was fantastic. We do need a little bit of degeneracy in here. We're going to talk about a lot of cool shit, but we're going to have a good time doing it. Let's hand it over to World of Eat. You're up next. Any final thoughts?
Not really. Just want to say that, yeah, it's good to be here and let's stay focused. Let's keep building. A lot of good things are about to happen for the entire ecosystem. And, yeah, we're all here to witness this, so it's going to be good. Thank you so much, guys.
Stronger together. We love it. Let's hand it over to Brad. Brad, final words from you.
Nothing special, guys. Just keep plugging away. Happy to be part of all this stuff. Keep building.
Keep building, keep chugging. It's a lot of consistency here, theme. Let's toss it over to Rare Evo. Rare Evo, thank you for joining us and being our first cross-chain project on the agenda. Any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, thank you, Connor. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and just getting to know your crew, Sigtoshi, all the cross-chain love in here is very promising for 2023. And yeah, if you're looking for a place to party and celebrate blockchain for 2 days, our event will be August 24th through the 26th. It's been great. Really appreciate you letting me share a little info here. And between Twitter and the IRL meetups, we'll be seeing each other a lot more.
Oh, yeah, we
Also,
will. Oh, yeah, we
also
will.
just crazy impressive variety of projects that got presented today. That was super interesting, from the real world use case to tokenized Twitter space. Big things popping.
VeChain's on the move. If you didn't know it, you better know now. Well, let's hand it over to our Web 2 partner that joined the conversation, or should we say Web 2.5 with the new buzzword that's kind of going around. Italian Stallion, Ducongo from UCO. Anything that you have to add to the final discussion?
Yeah, thank you for that opportunity here, actually, just to speak. We really appreciate being part of any of these kind of things. I think it's a lot of people find it tough in crypto sometimes to find good Twitter spaces or just an opportunity to promote yourself, and also Web3, just crypto in general, without feeling like too shilly or just like it's too forced. And honestly, I got so much value out of this. I met so many cool people, followed a lot of people, got a lot of follows back. Really appreciative of you, Connor, Sigtoshi. And again, thank you for calling. I think people should be called out for their stuff. And I didn't say sorry, so I'm going to say it again. I'm sorry I didn't come to Chicago. I'm going to find some time, come down and hang out with you guys. We go down, pop a few cold ones back, have a good time. So yeah, I'm all for that. And, again, really, hey, just thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to come here and speak. UCO Network is something that, we definitely want to have it a big community. We just want to have people come and challenge us and always ask them the tough questions, because ultimately that's how you grow and that's how you go down the right path. And I'm all about positivity. So if I can just leave with one message, stay positive, everyone. Don't be trapped in your head with bad thoughts, because that can bring you down so much. And the power of positivity does have a good impact. I'm a big believer in do good things come, karma, stuff like that. So I think everyone, just when you leave this space, have some good thoughts in your mind and good things will happen to you. So again, thank you very much, VeChain Foundation and everyone here, and all the listeners and people that had questions. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if Ducongo is able to speak yet, but his behalf, thank you as well.
Well, even if Ducongo's not able to speak, Italian Stallion, thank you so much for the kind words. And I hope that we do get to have that drink and throw back a few. And Ducongo, I know you're in Canada, but it's not that far of a trip. We can make a move.
No, I'll definitely be making my way, especially once the snow clears out, for sure.
Well, Ducongo, it sounds like we got you. I know thoughts from you, and I'm looking forward to that trip when the snow clears up.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm really glad to be part of this talk and also being in touch with you guys in your community. I'm actually very excited for this year. Extremely grateful for the VJ Foundation and everything that was discussed here. I actually learned a lot of new things. I was able to connect with a few people. And yeah, looking forward to what the future has for all of us this year. Every project and every investor is VJ.
2023, it's going to be a big year for VeChain. You've heard it multiple times. Well, let's hand it over to our co-host before we hand it over to the blockchain that made this all happen. We'll start with you, Sigtoshi. Any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great space hearing from everybody. Um, there's so much happening on VeChain right now, and it just gets me so excited about where we're going to be, 3, 6, 12 months from now. Um, I did want to say that I tried pinning a tweet. Let's see if it, but King Solomon from he's on a bunch of different blockchains, but he's hosting a big cross chain space tomorrow. He invited me to, there it is. He invited me to go and represent VeChain, talk a little bit about community. So if you can show up to that space tomorrow and just kind of represent VeChain, please do. And that is an hour or my space with StockTwits, Gov, Bama, and Eisen, Hump Day Cross Chain. So another cross chain space after that. So if you have time, want to hang out, learn about some cross chain stuff, and represent VeChain, please pull up. Um, right now, I think the most important thing we can do is continue growing our ecosystem, getting out there, and cross-chain interoperability is coming. But right now, the most important thing we can do is just build relationships cross-chain, because there are a lot of great people and projects out there. And if you have your blinders on, you miss a lot of opportunities, but also you might be able to open a door for somebody else and get them into VeChain, and they might really love it and be able to create other opportunities on VeChain. You just never know. So get out there, make some relationships. Everyone knows, um, I'm on the Mad V8s team. Like, that's my project. I'm out there telling people about Mad V8s. But on the other hand, I'm a VeChain NFT ambassador as well. And I'm just out there spreading the word. I got a phone call. I'm just out there spreading the word about VeChain NFTs. So let's all do that. Let's all continue to support each other. We go a lot further if we keep helping each other. Again, I'm just excited about where we're headed as an ecosystem. Everyone stepping their game up. Like, VeChain NFT projects are stepping their game up. There are some really cool things being built, fun stuff happening. So come check it out, get involved, learn about some of these other projects. You'll be surprised, and you might find something that you love and want to take a bigger role in. You just never know. So if you have any questions, my DMs are always open. I'm happy to help you, lead you in the right direction. But again, thank you to all the speakers. Thank you to all the listeners. Thank you, VeChain. Appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your week.
Love that, Satoshi. And I just want to add one comment going back to what Brad said earlier. We are all missionaries, not mercenaries. Everybody here together is pushing this mission. Love that. Ferg?
Yeah, I just kind of want to. It's always tough to follow Sig. Damn it, Sig. But yeah, I just want to kind of get out some words here. So every Monday at 3 p.m. EST, there's the Flame Space. It's a mostly VeChain project kind of chill space to let projects come up, talk about what they're doing. Then Wednesdays, as Sig just mentioned, I think at 6 p.m. every Wednesday is a cross chain space that Sig hosts, along with some co-hosts, and then we have VeChain Thursday every Thursday at 3 p.m. EST with Vet Mike, Sigtoshi, and Flame. And then Thursday at 6 p.m. we have the Thirsty Thursday space with War Dogs. It's a little bit more of a degen, relaxed kind of space. And then, as Praise was talking about, we have the 365, 24/7, just all the time, anytime you can think of, it's constantly going. So there's always a place to go. There's always a place to talk to people, to get out ideas, to maybe come up with new ideas, whatever it is. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everyone knows about those, because we're always going, we're always trying to build. And also, just as far as talking about cross chain, VFS does have a Cardano stake pool. We've minted multiple blocks successfully, and I believe now 5 or 6 epochs in a row. We're growing, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're offering great rewards for the community. So if you search, if you have Cardano and search $VFS, go stake to us and get those rewards. And then other than that, I'll kind of leave you with what I always leave you with. I actually just got put in Twitter jail because I was liking and retweeting everything that had anything to do with VeChain. But they let me out after about 8 hours. I just sent them an email, said, "Hey guys, I'm just trying to promote what I love. I'm not a spam account." And they're like, "All right, cool." And they unlocked me. But I'm trying to practice what I preach. Guys, go like things, retweet things, put it in the algorithm. You have no idea how important it is. When you like something, when you retweet something, when you comment, it doesn't matter what it is. You don't even have to love it, but it's bringing eyes to VeChain. That's what we need. We need eyes on VeChain. So I just want to leave you with that. Bring eyes to VeChain. Like it, retweet it, love it, whatever you got to do.
I love that. And team, remember, there are 30 different teams that are all helping make this space happen. And the last thing I have that, I think you missed there, Ferg, was Vigos to the fucking moon. If you didn't know what a Vigos is, check out that damn PFP he's got. I love those little. Well, let's hand it over to the foundation, the blockchain that's making all of this happen. VeChain, any final words?
Last but not least, yeah, I mean, obviously another amazing session, and our role as the foundation, I represent at large, is to enable, build, provide, and support. So, you guys have initiatives. Our focus is massively on community and expanding that and doing what we can, which is, we are the foundation. It's in the name. It makes sense. So, yeah, I just want to put that out. DMs are always open, and we've got a great team, taking on loads of new, awesome talent, and yeah, just working hard to serve the community as best as possible. And I just want to transplant one bit of information from a recent VeChain Force Day, and that's something to put in all your collective calendars, and that is mid-Feb. We're going to be launching the new wallet, so keep that in your diaries. We're talking about onboarding. We're talking about seamless user experience. There's going to be a big part of that. It's the first part of multiple parts. But yeah, keep that in the diaries, guys. Can't give a specific date, but let's say the next few weeks. ...
Stay tuned, VFam. Some little alpha snippets for you to end the space. Well, hey, we covered a lot, and somehow we're maybe going to go just a minute or two over. So these spaces are getting more efficient, but let's just go over what we covered. We covered everything from really focusing on VeChain, focusing on our community messaging, the material that we're creating, and putting that messaging outside of Twitter into other ecosystems like Twits and Reddit. Not being a bunch of shillers, but actually talking about what's happening here with receipts. Another thing that's happening is some of these in real life events. Rare Evo, one of our speakers up here, has an amazing event that's happening later this year where they've invited the VeChain community to come and interact, make our presence felt, and interact with some of these other blockchains. Then we covered a lot about collaboration with the foundation. We talked about the VeChain steering committee and what's happening with it. Today is that final day to apply. We talked about some Web2 company collaborations, mainly focusing on UCO Network and all of the cool things that they are doing here, revolutionizing the world of used cooking oils and fuels. And last but not least, we heard from you some different things that we wanted to talk about and just some general project updates. But I cannot thank you enough for staying with us for the last 2.5 hours. These spaces are going to continue to try and be around this length. Maybe we'll get them closer to 2 hours to make sure that you all can tune in and listen back to the recording. But thank you, VeChain. Thank you, VFam. This was another amazing discussion on the 4th version of the VeChain Project Leaders Twitter space. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I hope to see you on that 365, 24/7 DGen space that's right after this. Talk to you later, everybody, and have a great rest of your morning, night, or day.